and the Japanese Prime Minister right now as they come out for their traditional photo, and they'll stand. This is Prime Minister.
Were you told, are you making this decision to stand in front of the store on your own behalf, on behalf of the Department of Education, or were you told to come out here and block members of Congress from going to the desk?
I'm doing my job.
So everybody's
what is that?
I hit the button too quick there. Let me go back and do that again. I want you guys to see this. This is much important. Then we'll get to the fun stuff.
President Trump and the Japanese Prime Minister right now as they come out for their traditional photo, and they'll stand. This is Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, and he's just gotten there. They'll talk about a whole host of things, you know, all about how to reserve and build the diplomacy between our friend Japan and the United States.
All right, that's what I wanted to show you before I hit the wrong button, and the nut party showed up, which we are going to get to. Got a lot in store for you today. I mean, a whole lot. Hope you guys are all buckled in. Things have just completely broken loose. It's crazy, absolutely nuts, insane, beyond comprehension at this point. It was interesting. I want to tell you something. I got an email this morning from somebody, an actual email, who told me I shouldn't be saying that the Democrats are a dead party. That I shouldn't be telling people that because it's going to turn off Democrats, and Democrats may not watch my videos because I'm telling them that their party is dead. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep calling them dead because that's exactly what they are. They're done. And anyone who's watching any news can see clearly these people are absolutely insane. They're nuts. They're dead. There's no way we can defibrillate this party. They are going to have to find a way forward. And besides all of that, I don't care. I don't care if Democrats have to hide their heads in shame. I know how to win. I know what vanquishing an opponent is all about. I know what it's like to put somebody down. I've lined up against guys who tried to take me down. It felt exhilarating when I could bury their face in the dirt. And so I know how to win. And I know how to win because I've lost. And so you've known how to win because you've lost. And you've lost to these nuts. And so I keep trying to pump people up and go, don't be ashamed of winning. Don't be ashamed of running up the score. Don't be ashamed of rubbing their face in it. You know why? Let me tell you why. Because they'll do it to you. They've done it to you. I'm so sick and flipping tired of people who like, we shouldn't do this because, it's not F being nice. This is not the time to be nice. This is the time for retribution. If you don't remember, they wanted you to stay in a house. They wanted you to take an experimental thing. They wanted to close your business. They wanted to take away your free speech. They want to tax you to death. They tried to shoot the man that you voted for. And you're telling me, back off? You're worried about what would happen when they get back in power? I'm not worrying about that. I can't worry about what's going to happen down the road. I need to make sure I'm all doing what I need to do to keep succeeding right now. Man, you people some of you have got to learn how to win. This man is doing everything possible to show you the path forward. It's to stop this diseased group of nuts out. You can't leave a festering boil sitting there. If you leave a festering boil sitting there, it's going to grow back. You need to excise this thing. You need to make sure that you and everybody you know understands charge. Oh, but should we go back and make sure the people back there? No, keep going. The reason why Trump is so successful right now is because he is using a technique that is basically military at this point. You can also align it with sports. It's basically called flooding the zone. just keep the pressure on where they have nothing to do but wave the white flag. Don't give them any quarter. Take no prisoners. Expect no mercy. Stop. And those of you who know what I mean, let other people know that. I don't want to get emails from people saying, you might be offended. So how offended were you when they told you couldn't go to church? When they told you that, you should be prosecuted if you had a different opinion about baby removal. How offended were you? They weren't. They were going to try and stomp it out. So in order to have this mega movement, understand people who understand winning or are learning about winning, you need to help some other people because they're not getting it yet. They're still trying to let's turn the other cheek. Let's be the better man. Let's be the better woman. Hell no. I'm not that person. I've been beat. I've overcome. I've come back, not just in sports, not just in doing this channel, but politically. If you don't know how to lose, you don't know how to win. If you don't know what losing feels like, you don't know what winning is. Hold on a second. Looks like he took some questions in the Oval Office, which we are going to go to right now as I have the tape. The videotape is rolling. Let's talk about this real quick here.
So this is the second world leader that President Trump is meeting with. He had Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, there over the recent days. But this is obviously a very important ally. And we're told that Prime Minister Ishido has spent a lot of time preparing for this meeting. The issue of U.S. steel just came up. Will there be any trade restrictions on Japan is one of the issues that people will be watching very closely in this. Also, Shinzo Abe, the former prime minister who was assassinated after he left office, was a close friend of President Trump's. And so this new prime minister is looking to create that warm relationship with his ally, President Trump, here in the United States. So this is going to be an interesting back and forth. Let's listen.
I think it'll be very easy for Japan. We have a fantastic relationship. I don't think we'll have any problem whatsoever. They want fairness also.
それはうまく進むと思います。日本は素晴らしいパートナーですし、彼らもことがスムーズに進むことを期待していると思います。これは双方にとってです。
Mr. President, do you have a reaction to the new Time magazine cover that has Elon Musk sitting behind your Resolute desk?
タイムマガジンにイーロン・マスクが大統領の机の後ろで座っている写真がありますけども、それに関するコメントは何かありますか？
Is Time magazine still in business? I didn't even know that.
まだタイムマガジンは廃刊じゃないんですか？
Elon is doing a great job. He's finding tremendous fraud and corruption and waste. You see it with the USAID, but you're going to see it even more so with other agencies and other parts of government. He's got a staff that's fantastic. He's wanted to be able to do this for a long time, and everybody else knew it was existent, but I think never so much when you look at USAID. That's a fraud. The whole thing is a fraud. Very little being put to good use. Every single line that I look at in terms of events and transactions is either corrupt or ridiculous. And we're going to be doing that throughout government. And I think we're going to be very close to balancing budgets for the first time in many years. I think we're going to be very close to, in addition to monies coming in from tariffs, et cetera, et cetera. But no, he's doing a very good job. I'm very happy with it.
Will you put Elon Musk up on the podium for us to ask him some questions, Mr. President, at any point? Will you put Elon Musk up on the podium for us to ask him some questions?
Oh, sure. He's not shy. Elon's not shy.
Any further deliberations on Gaza, sir? The timetable for a takeover?
No deliberations. It's been very well received, where basically the United States would view it as a real estate transaction, where we'll be an investor in that part of the world. And no rush to do anything. We wouldn't need anybody there. It would be supplied and given to us by Israel. They'll watch it in terms of security. We're not talking about boots in the ground or anything, but I think the fact that we're there, that we have an investment there, I think would go a long way to creating peace. We don't want to see everybody move back and then move out in 10 years. This has been going on for 50 years, much more than that. We just want to see stability. That would be having us have that particular piece in that particular location, I think would show great stability and would lead to great stability in the area for very little money, very little price, and we wouldn't need soldiers at all. That will be taken care of by others. And the investments are taken care of by others also. So for no investment, I mean virtually no investment whatsoever, it would bring stability to the area, and others can invest in it later on. But we're in no rush on it. There's absolutely no rush.
President Trump, do you believe DeepSeek is a national security threat, and how do you plan to collaborate on AI initiatives?
On where?
DeepSeek, do you believe it's a national security threat?
No, I think it's happening. I mean, it's a technology that's happening. It's actually, I think we're going to benefit if it's correct what's going on now, that it'll be a lot less expensive. The AI we're talking about will be a lot less expensive than people originally thought. That's a good thing. I view that as a very good development, not a bad development.
Mr. President, on autos specifically, in your first term, you tried to tariff autos. Is that on the table still? Are you trying to do that in your second administration?
Auto tariff?
Auto tariff?
Oh, yeah, sure. That's on the table. That's always on the table. It's a very big deal. Because we have cases where we don't supply autos and other countries do, and, we have to equalize it. We have to stabilize it and equalize it.
Will you have Vice President Vance meet with President Zelensky next week while he's in Europe?
I will probably be meeting with President Zelensky next week, and I will probably be talking to President Putin. I'd like to see that war end for one primary reason. They're killing so many people. You're losing millions of people on a battlefield. In this case, mostly the battlefield. You have 800,000 or 900,000 Russian soldiers are dead and very badly wounded. And the same thing with Ukraine. You have probably 700,000 with Ukraine. The numbers they gave are a little bit lower than that, but I believe those numbers aren't correct. I'd like to see it end just on a human basis. It's terrible what's going on. They have open fields with no protection. The only thing a bullet can hit is a human body, and the human body dies as soon as it gets hit. Now, I'd like to see that end. It's a ridiculous war. It would have never started if I were president. That war would have never started. Putin would not have started that war if I were president. And by the way, you wouldn't have had October 7th if I was president either. That mess would not have started. But no, I would very much like to help out. One of the things we're looking at with President Zelensky is having the security of their assets. They have assets underground, rare earth and other things, but primarily rare earth. And we want to have security. Really, we want security because, as you know, Europe is putting up much less money than us. NATO, Europe, call it whatever you want. And we're at probably 300 billion plus, and they're at probably, the real number is 100 billion. That's a lot of money, but it's 200 billion less than us, and there's an ocean in between. And they need it more than us. So we're asking them to equalize and get even. But we're also asking President Zelensky for the security of, we're putting all this money up, and we're saying, where does it stop? And yet, we want to see it out to an end. We want to see it end. But we are going to be asking for the security, and we've already told him, of an equal amount of something where our money, I mean, the American taxpayer is in for $300 billion. Biden never negotiated it. He never told Europe to put in more money, and it got out of hand, just like NATO. NATO, we were paying almost 100% of NATO. When I first came in, everybody was taking advantage of the good old United States, but not anymore. So what, and now, if you speak to the Secretary General of NATO, who was very nice when he was here 2 weeks ago, he said what Trump did was amazing. He got everybody to pay. And to do that, you have to ask, and Biden never asked. So we're in for probably close to $200 billion more than Europe, and yet obviously it affects Europe much more than us. So we would like them to to equalize They have to go more. And from our standpoint, we do want security and all this money that we're putting up.
And you're speaking with him next week, sir? Is that what you said? You're going to speak.
He may meet next week, yeah. Whenever he'd like. I'm here. I'm here. Could be Washington. Well, I'm not going there.
Are you planning to meet with President Putin, or are you just planning
It could
a
be,
phone call?
it could be. We've always had a good relationship. President Putin and I have always had a good relationship. That's why it's so sad that it happened. This would have never happened if I were president. It's so sad to see it happen. So many dead people. By the way, so many cities are demolished. They're like, you talk about Gaza? Well, take a look at Ukraine. So many of those cities are demolition sites. Demolished. So sad. Should have never happened. All those beautiful golden domes, but much more importantly, all those beautiful people are dead. And it should have never happened. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Brad. Let's go, guys. Come on, guys. Hey, let's go. Thank you, guys. Let's exit.
Oval Office discussion as.
All right, so from what I understand, just do some housekeeping here real quick. It appears as though that was just a meeting, and then at 1:15 or so, they're supposed to do a full press conference, joint press conference, out at the podium where they end up doing all those things. So we will cut to that as soon as that happens. What was interesting, what you didn't see off camera there, was Pete Hegseth was sitting in the room while they're having this meeting with Japan. Very interesting. Not sure what it means, but just wanted to let you know that. So I'm not going to belabor the point too much in regards to learning how to win. It's a process, and when you see your opponent weakened, when you see your opponent fearful, that's when you have to strike. That is the point when you're looking in someone's eyes and you can tell that they are afraid, that they can't match what you're doing. That's when you're supposed to take them out. And I don't mean, I'm not talking about that kind of vanquishing. I'm talking about ideologically and physically, if it's a sport, vanquishing them. Do not let them think they have any chance of beating you. In sports, often, especially in football, as a lineman, the term, and you'll hear it in certain games, is I need to impose my will upon you. I need to make you succumb to that which I'm trying to do to you. They did it to you. In fact, I don't know, I remember back a couple of years ago, Hillary was talking about putting y'all up in re-education camps. This can take your whole family and go stick you in a tent somewhere and make you go have some mind control because there's something wrong with you being in a cult for Trump. They were willing to go that far. And now I got people emailing me telling me, be a little bit lighter on the Democrats. I don't know. No. Absolutely frickin' no. This is your time to win. It's basically game time. And like Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen said the same. It was so weird. He said the exact same thing I told you. Now is the time for you to strap on and realize you're in this game and you have a part to play. Drown out their noise. Attack on X. You don't have to say vile things, but don't let somebody lies, call them out. Somebody says something stupid, pop a link. Hey, you're not telling the truth. Boom, hit them. Give them no quarter. At this point, they're trying to, they're looking around and they're not finding anywhere they can go that's helping them. Everybody is just full force on them. And what I'm going to show you today is going to prove everything I'm saying to you. So I saw a couple comments in the chat referencing this piece that I'm going to show you. And if you want like exhibit 1522 as why the Democrats are insane and why you should give them nothing. Don't give an inch. I'm going to show you what happened this morning at the Department of Education. And don't have any, if you haven't seen this yet, don't have a drink or something. You're going to laugh out loud and probably spit all over your monitor, television, or your phone. But one thing I want you to pay perfect attention to and focus on throughout the noise, what I want you to focus on is what I just said to you. Don't give an inch. You are going to see members of Congress who think that they're elitist, that they deserve, because of who they are, to be able to do certain things. And you're going to see one man, one white man. I say that because you know they're going to say something about this earlier. One thin white guy who stands like this and doesn't give a flipping inch and has not one F to give to these people. That's you. What you're going to see right now should be you. When all the noise is around you, maybe in your office or family members or anything else, this guy standing in front of this door by himself should be you.
Were you told, are you making this decision to stand in front of this door on your own behalf, on behalf of the Department of Education, or were you told to come out here and block members of Congress and ride the desk?
I'm doing my job.
So everybody's
what is that? We're doing our jobs. We're trying to save you.
It's non-responsive.
Show them your ID. Were you told to stand here, or did you decide to stand here and block members of Congress from entering the Department of Education?
To federal buildings.
We're allowed in there.
So a private security contractor
do you know who members of Congress are?
Members of
We're all members of Congress.
Maybe you don't understand.
A private security contractor is making the decision to block members of Congress from a public access entrance.
I don't think he knows.
You have the authority as a private security contractor to block members of Congress. That has been knighted and granted to you.
You have to at least let us go to the desk. Yeah. Oh my. Look at that. Who told you to do this? Open the door.
I see it.
So do you understand who members of Congress are?
I got it, yeah.
Well, and you don't care. Who are we then?
I got the job right there.
You don't.
I used to absolutely love when I was doing security back in the day, and somebody would come up to me and say, do you know who I am? I don't give a shit who you are. You're not going down this area, period. So unless you want to take me on, you're not coming this way. And this guy is so calm. He knows his right. He didn't give a shit if you people are in Congress. Your congressional little badge that you guys have, or, I'm Miss Maxine Waters. I don't care. I don't care. My job, I was told, you aren't coming in. So that's all I got to say to you.
We have a job to do. We're not dangerous people. We're not, I don't know, we're security. There are no thieves and thugs out here. We're members of Congress. We're parents.
There's no thieves? What do you mean there's no thieves? This whole thing is about you people being thieves. Have you not been following the news? It's all about y'all being thieves.
We're teachers.
Each of us. There's our ID, right there.
We were elected to do this.
This is our job.
I've never seen one.
This is our job. We're doing our job.
Oh,
You're securing this building against who?
Members of Congress. Who are you protecting?
It's members of the people's
So this is the beginning of full transparency of this administration.
That's right.
The administration that talked about they're going to open the doors to all of these things and show the American public what is going on. They won't even open the door to this building, to members of Congress. We are not posing any threat here. We are not dangerous people. We have not done anything. We're trying to request a meeting, and they have a private security contractor who on his own is making decisions on behalf of the Department of Education.
We are members of
Congressman Hayes, what you're saying is they allow billionaires and his minions to come in.
I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is, but I know who I am. And I'm a member of Congress with oversight responsibilities trying to request a meeting, and a private security contractor is not allowing me to enter the building.
They allow billionaires to go in this building.
Millionaires get to go in the building.
All access entrance.
Congress. They allow billionaires and their cronies to come in, but there's a lack of transparency here. Members of Congress, the people's representatives are not allowed in. This is not transparent.
They're locking our kids out. Not only are they not letting us in, now they've called the Department of Homeland Security. We are members of Congress here to talk with the Department of Education, and they're treating us.
Kids deserve to have us go in and fight for them.
This is appalling.
Children of this country deserve that battle.
This is a public institution. This is not Russia. Let the camera see him. Let the camera see him. Who is he? This man here.
We are members of Congress.
Come in.
They're blocking us.
You're finding out, Maxine, the people don't care that you're a member of Congress. Because what you don't understand and what this man stands for, he stands for 200-300 million people, because what you just found out is we are your boss. It may have just sunk into them. Hey, I'm a member of Congress. I'm your boss then. If that's who you are, if you're a member of Congress, guess what? You work for me. It's not the other way around. If I, as an American, a tax-paying American, I pay you. You don't understand this relationship. And right now, Mr. America, as far as I'm going to call him, represents all of us who said, no, we run this, not you. This is reality setting in for Democrats. No, I don't want to give them any harbor. No, I don't want to give them any quarter. No, I don't want to take any prisoners. You're done. America is letting you know your place. You are an employee. We are your boss. That guy might have 300 million people behind him, or at least 175, because half of them are nuts. But at this point, he represents every single one of us. That guy right there by himself represents you, represents me. He is letting these people know in no uncertain terms, you work for me. So I don't have to answer for you. You're not law enforcement. You have no control over me. None. That's what people need to start realizing. These people have built themselves up to the point where they have cowered people in their districts, where people in their districts have not risen up and realized, hey, I put you where you are. I can take you out. This is what they're worried about. Their money, their structure, everything that the Democrats have done for decades. They're seeing it just crumble before their eyes. So when you tell me in an email to back off, I'm telling you, you need to be like this dude. Instead of backing off, pump your chest out. Go away. I am in charge now.
Here, who is a federal employee, he told us.
No, he's not.
Are you a federal employee?
No.
Huh?
Yes.
No, he said he's a federal employee. We pay him. We raise money to make sure that we have a...
See? She got that wrong. You don't pay me a dime, Maxine. I don't work for you. Yes, you may be a taxpayer, but my actual boss is the American people. And the American people have said, no, you can't come in.
Department of Education, everybody that's hired at the Department of Education are here because we pay for them to be here. He's standing here today, blocking the door, and he can't give us a good reason why he's blocking this door.
Make sure they see right here, all access entrance.
Well, and I think it should be clear to parents in the United States, if you want to advocate on behalf of your children, you
I wanted to pause it right there, not because of what the lady is saying here. I want you to look at something here. Look below the word entrance inside. What you're seeing inside as I let it play, the police are inside. They don't realize as they're yelling at this one individual, the people who they think are going to save them, the police are inside having coffee and donuts. He's got it. Just notice as this plays, what's behind that door?
Are not allowed to come into this building where you pay taxes. Parents who have children who are disabled. Access is being blocked. You voted for members of Congress to advocate on behalf of your children with disabilities.
I almost think he did that on purpose. If you noticed, he turned his back so you could see the police, thing on his jacket, letting you know we're supporting this guy. We're here. Make these people really feel weird. We're here to protect him. Should you guys do anything, put your hands on him, try to rush him, we're behind him. That's a huge statement that these people probably weren't ready for. Hey, the police are in there. They're making sure he's okay. He's not out there making sure, letting the Congress people run stuff. He's back there making sure that guy's okay.
For young women who have been victims of sexual assault in our classrooms, on our school grounds, members of OCR are fighting for your children. We are not allowed in the building to talk to them. We are not allowed to advocate on behalf of America's children. America, we have a problem.
Look them in the eye. Come on, hold your face up. Look at him. Let him see you. This is him. Look at it. What's your name? Tell us your name. Give me that ID again.
I showed it to you.
So what?
I showed you the ID.
You do what?
I showed you the ID.
Could you let me see the ID again? Huh?
No.
No? Will someone else ask him for the ID? Will you ask him for it? He won't let me see it again. You didn't see it. You didn't see it. They didn't see it.
Ashley, if you can please, I don't know how, but if we can find out who that guy is, I want to send him a hoodie and a gift certificate at the bar of his choice to buy him a collective fanfare drink. That 3 or 4 minutes says everything. To the person who sent me the emails, who I will not say their name, you need to be that guy. Every single one of us needs to be that guy. I want to get a t-shirt with his face on it. Dude, thank you. If anything exemplified what Trump, Elon, and this entire MAGA movement was all about, that just did. That is somebody we can all salute and say, that's it. Hold the line. Hold. And he didn't care. He didn't care that these people were congressional representatives. Didn't care. You no longer matter to me. The opposite of love isn't hate. The opposite of love is indifference. I don't hate Democrats. I don't care anymore. That's the point where you need to get to. You really want to get to a point of winning? You need to get to a point of indifference. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about your ideology. I care about you as a human being. But other than that, I don't care. There's nothing you can say to me. There's nothing I don't care. I am so indifferent at this point. And that man right there showed you indifference in spades. Exponential indifference. I don't care. I just don't care anymore. And that's where you guys, in my estimation, if you really exemplify this right here.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
Yep. And that to me is what winning is all about. When you feel so confident in your position that your opponent has pushed you to, okay, I'm looking to see, I was just checking the monitor because I saw Trump's face, and that's just a recording from before the joint news conference is coming up at 1:15. When you get to the point where you don't care anymore, you can't hurt me. I've seen your best. I've seen it. understand, you've seen their best. You've seen them burn down buildings and cities. You've seen them stop things in the highway and not try to let you get home. You've seen them try to force you to stay in your house. You've seen them try to put you in re-education camps. You've seen them try to shoot Donald Trump. There's nothing else you can do to me. The wall has come down. I don't care. You know, many of us have been through divorce proceedings, and you have the idea in your mind that maybe there's some reconciliation. And I think right now we're going through a divorce. And some people, like the guy who sent me the email, it has a reconciliatory thought to him. Maybe we can get back together. Maybe we can work this out. And as you progress, there becomes a point where you're like, you do you, I'm gonna do me. I no longer care. I care about you as a human being, because I'm Christian and I feel for humans. But you do you. I'm a bounce. Good luck. And at this point, that guy just exemplified it. He got to he is showing all of us, you don't got to take it anymore. It's over. And these people, because of what they're seeing, they're not used to this. They're even the Republican people in Congress and the Republican people in the Senate, they're not used to this kind of fight. Like, wait a minute, we can actually stomp these people? Yeah. We don't have to play along? No. And you'll support us? Yeah. And so now they look like clowns. Now it's comedy for us. Please do that again. I'd love to see you do that again. Go to another building and let us film you with somebody just going, what time's lunch? Get lost. Get lost. I don't care. That's your mindset. That's your mindset, people. That's where you got to be. So let's continue with this clown show of losing it, as I will say. This clown show of losing it finally reached an epic level on CNN.
So this is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls on
I am so done. You're a paid reporter on CNN, and you have to come out because you've found someone's screen name, and that person's name is Big Balls. It's unfortunate. Oh, my virgin ears. Oh, my goodness. Somebody calls himself Big Balls. I wish I thought of that handle. I should have called it the Big Balls Community instead of Fanfare. I want people to he's Big Balls.
online, so that would be one way that we could refer to him. He is now working at Musk's behest inside Doge, and we looked into his background. And so we found several notable things, Aaron, one of which is that this individual has founded multiple companies, including one with another unfortunate name, Tesla.Sexy LLC, which he established in 2021. He would have been around 16 years old. Now, this LLC controls dozens of web domains.
Wait. So this web domain, he created this when he was like 16 years old, and he's got multiple corporations, so he's an entrepreneur. Oh my goodness. These people crack me up. Big Balls is actually an entrepreneur. He's created all these corporations and he's doing this and websites. Man, you people live in a bubble. I can't even count the amount of corporations I can't even imagine over 30 years. And this kid's 16 and he's out there hitting it. Big Balls is out there with the sexy Tesla and everything else, making it happen. And you, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate what we found. I don't know how I'm going to get through my days knowing that there's a guy out there who calls himself Big Balls. I don't know this woman. I don't know her private life. I don't want to get in her private life. But I'm pretty sure, in any event, this is the second guy that they've tried to dox and put out there. The other kid, when he was like 12, said something bad, and he resigned. And now there's a huge movement to, hey, Elon, don't give these people any. Don't give them an inch. Rehire this kid immediately. So if I can tell you one thing today, I want you to go take this poll. I want you to vote your heart. I'm not telling you to vote yes or no. That's an individual decision. But should I bring back the Doge staffer who made the inappropriate statements via now deleted pseudonym? 385,000 people have voted since this morning, and it's 78 to 22 in the affirmative. Let's get that to 80, people. Let's get this guy who they tried to dox and make him go away. Let's get that to 80 or more. You just go to Elon's page and you could go ahead and vote for this. He's coming back. Elon's going to see that number, and you can bet he's coming back. It's CNN is doing this piece. Remember that. This is a national news network is doing a piece on big bulls.
You hear this, and you have known Elon Musk for years. So now you look at these young men who are now in data and in the private information about maybe hundreds of millions of American citizens as young as 19, the big balls here that Katie's talking about. Most of them are in their early 20s. There's an exception.
She said it again, a different woman. Big balls. So somebody just texted me and said the poll is now closed. I didn't see this, but it does say final results, which means, reading into this, Elon Musk has said, I've seen enough, he's coming back. At that point, when you're 80 to 22, it's obvious he's coming back. America has had it with these people.
I'm going to get to in a minute. I'm curious, though, Kara, how well does even Musk know these young men, do you think?
I have no idea. I think there's no...
Notice what she said there. You know me. I like to interrupt because I need to point things out. She asked this woman, how much do you think Elon knows these people? She asked that question with the full knowledge of forethought that this woman she's asking the question of has no friggin' idea and could not possibly have any idea, but they're putting this out to their minions on the left who like, yeah, he doesn't know him. He doesn't even know who these people are. And listen to her answer. I think the first part of her answer is like, I have no idea.
Whatsoever, as you can see, that's taken place. It took Katie and the really great team. Wired has done an astonishing job here. I could make a joke that's probably why he was hired for all this ridiculous nonsense. And
I hope he was. I hope you can make the joke. You've said it. You just put it out there. You think he was hired because he has big balls. I hope it's the guy that was standing out in front of that door. I hope that guy standing out in front of the door is Big Ball Senior. Because I think we all need to have a set. We're done dealing with you nuts. We're done dealing with you people losing it. It's over.
Nefarious things, but there's an expression in technology that's not it's a feature, not a bug.
It's foreign aid. Foreign aid's not popular. Let's talk about eggs, or let's talk. This is a fight that I don't care what polls say right now. If it's a 50-50 split, I still have confidence in the American people that they don't want children to die in Sudan.
You got some, I think you're really, no, you're not overconfident. You are 100% correct. I completely agree. The American people do not want kids to be dying in the Sudan. I don't think there's anybody here who wants to see kids dying in the Sudan. But at the same time, we're Americans. We would, prioritize taking care of the kids dying in Appalachia or Maui or California or Chicago. We're sorry. We have compassion for what's happening in the Sudan. But you people don't seem to understand. It begins home. You want to strengthen America? Strengthen the least of people here first. And there's no stopping the government from putting up a GoFundMe page and said this is for Cheerios for the kids in Sudan. Let people decide what they want to do. I didn't have it. No one's called me. Hey, Barry, yeah. We want to go ahead and send some of your tax dollars over to Sudan for some hungry kids so they can get some Cheerios. Okay, but what about the kids in, I don't know, Chicago first? Oh, we'll get to them, but we need to really make sure we take care of the kids in Sudan. Is it okay if we send your money to Sudan before you take care of the kids in Chicago? Yes, because, we really need to take care of the kids in Sudan. No, I don't agree with that. You never got that phone call. You never were given that option. So when you're saying the people of America care about the starving kids in Sudan, you're damn right we do. I remember growing up, many of you guys probably remember going through school and them taking the little donations in school for UNICEF. I have no idea what UNICEF was, but I would run home, hey, mommy, there's some starving kids and they got big stomachs on the picture. Can I send $1 to the kids in UNICEF? And mom would say, here's $1, take it to the kids in UNICEF. Didn't come from her tax dollars. It was like, here, let me put something in. I remember going to church every Sunday morning. Every Sunday morning, here comes the basket. Oh, and I thought as a kid it was funny. Let me put it in there. And then as an adult, you're like, yeah, we're supposed to put it in there. But where are they sending it? And I remember going to this one church with Robin, and we sat in the pews, and I'm watching the great PowerPoint movie about, here's what we just did. We just helped kids in Mongolia learn how to make, cupcakes. And I'm thinking, do you know you're about 15 miles away from one of the biggest ghettos in Palm Beach County? You don't think those kids right down the street want some cupcakes? What in the hell are you doing in East Mongolia or wherever it was? You can go right here to Riviera Beach. You can go to Riviera Beach and see these kids right here. So you're telling me the money that we're giving in our tithes is going over there? That was the last time I went to that church. That was it. I was like, that's not what I want. I want the money I put in the thing to go to people right here. Stop gaslighting us and having us, don't look over here, look over there.
They don't want them to starve to death in Sudan, and they don't want malaria spreading all over Africa. They don't want these diseases spreading all over the world. They don't want George W. Bush's PEPFAR project, which has saved 25 million lives so far across the world. They don't want those stopped at the end of the day if Democrats will actually explain that to them.
You can explain it to me till you're blue in the face. And I'll wait. I'll wait like the guy at the door. Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What about Appalachia? What about Cleveland? What about Detroit? What about Baltimore? And on and on and on. What about Oakland? What about Watts? What about parts of Dallas? What about all these cities right here? Why is it that you got to convince me that things are going so well over there? You don't have to. Don't have to at all. I can drive you. Hey, Joe, if you want to get in a car, I can drive you right here in Palm Beach County to some serious areas where people need help. That's what it's crazy. Yeah, they make it. Yeah, parts of Philly. Oof, man. If you look up some videos about go look at on YouTube. Put Kensington, Philadelphia, and see what shows up. You're crazy. They are forgetting. They don't care about MAGA, which is why you don't need to care about them. Tired of these idiots using. Tired of you use the words. Where'd that go? Joe Scabby needs to educate himself. They know. it's crazy. What are you saying? We Americans want our children to die? That's a good point. I mean, we don't want Americans to die. We care about American kids. How about that, Joe? UNICEF is a UN thing. Yep, I didn't realize that till way, way later in my life. All right, so before I get back into the videos, which I'm going to pause because any second Trump should show back up, let me do this. Let's talk about some of the things he's put at Truth Social. So if we have to jump momentarily, we can do that without interrupting a video. So let's talk about Truth Social. This is funny. Now, this is exemplary of what I think sometimes Trump does. By putting this out there, none of us puts this in our top 10. We don't put this in our top 10 list. We got to have this. This is something just to needle these people. And I feel very confident that Trump at some point just lets their heads explode. And so he posts this, guy will be signing an executive order next week ending the ridiculous Biden push for paper straws, which don't work. Back to plastic. While I completely agree, it's not in my top 500 things. So I gotta believe he puts this stuff out there just to make the climate nuts freak out. Just to make them just go absolutely bat poop crazy. Because, I hate the paper straws. You go to a restaurant, somebody gives you a straw, and it starts dissolving while you're still having your meal. And yes, I know, guys, you're like, Barry, you use a straw? Yeah, I'm sorry. Robin says the same thing. She goes, man, you're a grown-ass man. What are you doing with a straw? I like my straws. I don't know, sorry. I still have my kid-like tendencies. All right, so anyway, he's going to do an executive order next week ending the ridiculous straw mandate. This one, USAID is driving the radical left crazy, and there's nothing they can do about it because the way in which the money has been spent, so much of it fraudulently, is totally unexplainable. The corruption is at levels rarely seen before. Close it down. Don't you start. He's putting it out there, using the megaphone, letting everybody know, not going to take it. Now we've got a couple which are, this is just funny. Border crossings have dropped from 90% after the Trump crackdown. Let that sink in. 90% in, 16 days? 16 days. Border crossing, I love this. Was it something I said? The New York Post makes some of the best front pages ever. Man, it's too funny. Next thing, talking about Sunday. In case you don't know, or in case you don't care, Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday. And Trump is going to be going to the game, and he's doing an interview with Brett Baer before the game, as it is on Fox. Two great quarterbacks in this game, also an unbelievable running back, and the absolute best tight end in football. So in case you don't know who these people are, quarterbacks are, Patrick Mahomes for the Kansas City Chiefs. For the Eagles, oh my God, I'm going to lose his name. I'm forgetting his name. Oh my God, I'll come back to that. Also an unbelievable running back. He's talking about the running back for the Philadelphia Eagles with, oh my God, I can't remember his name. Absolute best tight end in football, Travis Kelce. Incredible coaching. That would be Andy Reid. And Nick Sirianni is for Philadelphia. If they would only get rid of that really weird-looking new kickoff deal, which makes football more dangerous, they would be doing everybody, especially the fans, a big favor. I don't like it either. It looks stupid. Anyway, it will be a great game. I will be doing the interview before the game at 3 p.m. There hasn't been one in 4 years. Gee, I wonder why. And he's taking a big stab at Joe Biden for not doing the interview. And I'm sure, I knew it. I wanted to stop. I'm like, someone's going to remind me. It's Jalen Hurts is the quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, and the great running back he was referring to is Saquon Barkley. It's funny how those names just evaporated from my mind as I was reading that. It was too funny. And I knew it. I'm like, as soon as I say I can't remember, someone's going to go ahead and post it, which I think that you did. Thank you. Just watching here. Okay. So that was what he said about the quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, unbelievable running back, Saquon Barkley, best tight end in football, Travis Kelce. And by the way, I think the Philadelphia Eagles tight end, he's no slouch either. I think it's Dallas Goedert is their tight end. Sorry to get all football in the weeds, but that's what he's referring to there. Then he put out this saying, balanced budget, which I don't even remember the last time we had a balanced budget in this country, but he's calling for a balanced budget. In addition, now he has a number of administrative appointments that he has put out. I am pleased to announce that Nicholas Merrick will serve as the next United States ambassador to the Czech Republic. Nicholas is a highly respected businessman and teacher who leads Kenny and Lisa Trout's $1.65 billion family office. He was previously the CFO of 2 publicly traded telecommunications companies and has served on several large pension boards. So the guy's got some credibility. Next up we have Melinda Hildebrand will serve as the next United States ambassador to Costa Rica. Again, another incredibly successful businesswoman and philanthropist. So if you notice the people he's putting in place here, the people he's putting in place since he's been nominating people are successful business people. People who know how to negotiate, people who have been successful in life, who he can trust to go over to these places and talk to leaders. Michael Kavokjian will serve as the next United States ambassador to the Kingdom of Norway. Michael is a brilliant attorney who currently serves as a senior partner at White & Case, where he's led complex commercial litigation teams around the world. He's at Harvard Law. Good guy. All right, next person up. I'm pleased to announce that Thomas Rose will serve as the next United States ambassador to Poland. Another highly respected businessman and commentator who had a successful radio show on Sirius XM for almost a decade, and the publisher and CEO of the Jerusalem Post. He'll be going to Poland. This one, I'm pleased to announce that Gadi Seralta will serve as the next director of the United States Marshal Service. Gadi is a lifelong public servant with 34 years of law enforcement experience. I nominated him in my first term, so he's been back. He's coming back to serve as U.S. Marshal for the Southern District of Florida. Got to tell you about a big development down here right after this. Excuse me. And he's done an incredible job for the past 6 years. Was previously a major in the Miami-Dade Police Department and police chief for Palmetto Bay, Florida. Great. Good to hear it. And exciting news, due to my executive order, which I proudly signed yesterday, the NCAA has officially, this is huge, has officially changed their policy of allowing men and women's sports. It is now banned. The NCAA followed the executive order because it is currently the law of the land. It's an executive order that can be overturned, but at the same time, it is now the law of the land. The NCAA had really no choice but to compel, so they're going to call it no more. This is a great day for women and girls across our country. Men should have never been allowed to compete against women in the first place, but I am proud to be the president to save women's sports. We expect the Olympic Committee to also use common sense and implement this policy, which is very popular among the American people and the entire world. So those are the appointments and things he has put out thus far in the last, I'd say, 18 hours or so in regards to his different posts on Truth Social. So I mentioned Florida has done something amazing in regards to... I'm looking, wait a minute, it just says soon, so we're still waiting. Florida, Ron DeSantis petitioned Trump. Trump responded. And President Trump has deputized all Florida law enforcement under the authorization of Ron DeSantis. They are now immigration agents. So the entire state of Florida, or whoever Ron DeSantis at this point wants to point at and say, now you now have immigration authority as well, are now deputized. That means our entire coast is now a barrier, and you can be deported. Did I just say deported? You can be deported if you don't do what you're supposed to do. Let's see here. SV said he just sent me something. What did he send me? He's got something from... Oh, you got 2 things here for me. All right, 3 things. SV, you got a whole bunch... Oh, that's yesterday. That's yesterday. Okay, 1 thing here. Nicole Shanahan has just posted... Nicole Shanahan, who was RFK Jr.'s running mate, and she has now posted that my foundation is allocating $3.5 million in grants for qualified researchers to publish a series of review papers summarizing the published evidence linking vaccines to toxin-induced gut-brain inflammation. I don't even know what this stuff means. But she is now requesting proposals, and basically, I think this stuff is regarding autism. So she's putting money out for this as well, $3.5 million, which I think we need those kind of studies. Still waiting for Trump to walk out, and while we're doing that, I guess I could discuss this. This dovetails with the point where people say that these people in Doge don't have the authority to be doing what they're doing. Well, actually, they do. Scott Bessent, the new Treasury Secretary, just appointed Tom Krause, a Doge ally, as the Fiscal Assistant Secretary in charge of America's $5 trillion payment system. This is getting more and more epic. So, in other words, this guy who he just appointed takes Wally the Nigerian's place. And so now they cannot say that someone in Doge like Elon Musk and one of these kids is in control. They're not. Our duly appointed and Senate confirmed Treasury Secretary has now appointed one of his staff to actually control the payment button. Game over. When I say game over, understand they're going to run to every single court they possibly can. Every single court that they possibly can to try and get all of this overruled. It's long-standing. And I don't think at this point Trump is even going to pay any attention to them. They what are you going to do? Put me in jail? Just think, we are at a point constitutionally where we have to stop these activist judges from doing what they've been doing. The only way we can stop them is for their injunctive powers. When they say, oh, we're going to stop it across the nation until you get to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, in my estimation, is going to have to pull those powers away from the lower courts. And they say, we are the only court in the land that can issue national injunctions. You see, you shouldn't be a court in San Francisco and tell the entire government they can't do something. It's gotten way out of hand. So at this point, I think they're going to pull this in, and I think it's going to be a SCOTUS issue because Clarence Thomas has already been talking about this. Clarence Thomas brought this issue up, 2 years ago, and said, we got to stop these lower courts from thinking they have the power to enjoin the president nationally. And so the only way to fix what the courts are doing, the only way is for the Supreme Court to say, no more. You do not have the power for injunctions across the country. I think that's coming. You can mark my words here on February 7th that I think that is what's coming. I think we're going to see Supreme Court say, you can't run to the courts. If you want to sue, go ahead and sue. And during the process of your lawsuit, which may take years, you can't shut anything down until you actually can prove why you're shutting it down. So understand, when people go into a courtroom and they seek an injunction is only supposed to be ordered if you can show that by letting the activity happen, you are incurring irreparable harm to Americans. And that is going to be a hurdle these people can't make. When you walk in and say, hey, listen, we got to shut this down because there are so many people that are relying on all this money, and the Trump team is going to go, can you show me what Americans are reliant on this who aren't going to get fed? Who aren't going to get the rats being turned into rat S's? The Frankensteinian stuff show me how irreparably harmed any American is by stopping the drag show in Burma. It can't stand because they cannot show irreparable harm here. And Trump is pretty much giving you a notification that that's where they're going, because they're talking about, we didn't stop any Social Security. We didn't stop any kids programs. We didn't stop any of this. So I want you to check this out. I'm going to move to the videos because they're still waiting.
The government's been robbing us blind. We've been writing checks, $6 million for tourism in Egypt. Like Egypt needs help with that. They have the pyramids. We should be spending money on cleaning up California so that tourists can vacation in California. $2 million to help the BBC value the diversity of Libyan society. We're bribing the BBC to cover Libya better? Why? $1 million for a gay group in Armenia.
See, this is specifically what I'm talking about. When they go in and sue and say people are being irreparably harmed, this is what they're supporting and saying that we can't stop this. And none of this has anything to do with, kids eating food or anything.
There it is. We paid $20 million for Iraqi Sesame Street.
This is probably one of the worst things I've seen. I'm not playing the music because I don't want the people here at YouTube to get pissed off, but we paid $20 million for this. $20 million for them to make an episode.
You paid for Bert and Ernie in Baghdad. Weren't we just bombing these people? Now we're paying for their Muppet shows? We're sick. There is something sick with us. You also paid for an Irish DEI musical.
On behalf of Ambassador Cronin, it is an honor to welcome all of her guests to Deerfield tonight for this
Why didn't Ireland pay for their own musical? Why are we paying for a DEI musical over in Ireland?
important event.
This is a government theft ring. We spent $2 million for trans surgeries in Guatemala. I'm going to go out on a limb. One Guatemalan dude got breast implants. And we probably kicked back the rest of the cash to a crooked Guatemalan politician and the corrupt liberal CEO of the group they laundered the money through. Because all this money we're spending, we could have turned the whole world trans. We could have made every man a woman and every woman a man with this kind of money. Do you really think it costs $20 million to produce an episode of Sesame Street? You could hire Tom Cruise to play Oscar the Grouch for that money. Check this. Biden paid nearly $5 billion to unnamed foreign sources. Whoever's getting our money is so shady, our government can't even put it in writing.
Did you know that? Did you know that one of the entries that they have since found in the USAID stuff is $5 billion was sent to somebody undisclosed? Now remember, you've seen all these different entities and NGOs who've gotten millions and hundreds of millions, but this one entity got $5 billion. And they won't tell us who it is. $5 billion. Undisclosed. That's your money.
Just call it aid. I bet a lot of this money is to bribe foreign officials to win bids for American companies, or to bribe foreign politicians just to have in our pockets, or just to subsidize far-left foundations. Most of the people getting money from these grants aren't in the country. They pump it into overseas organizations, and then we never see them. Any liberal with an international women's studies degree can launch a 501c3, apply for a government grant, and spin it off into a left-wing piggy bank. USAID paid $235 million to the National Democratic Institute. Okay, well, that sounds benign. No, millions of that money went to executive compensation, meaning salaries for all the liberals with no skills. I bet most of that money didn't go to supporting democracy. It went to supporting liberal lifestyles. Democrats have been sucking off the teat of government for decades, and Trump caught them. As one Trump insider says, you bring USAID to heel and you end the Democrat gravy train. USAID is just the beginning. You start peeling back at the layers of every agency, and all you find out is pork that winds up in the wrong people's pockets. We know some.
So now that this stuff is being uncovered, and I'm sorry, we got a furniture delivery and Midas is going nuts. Now that this stuff is being uncovered and people are actually able to see it, it is so voluminous that nobody wants to admit, on the left that is, what's actually happened. But fortunately, now what we're seeing is some. You saw Nancy Mace, you see Marjorie Taylor Greene, you start to see some people who are out there talking, who are in essence becoming their own big balls. By the way, personally, Elon wrote it. Personally, I voted for big balls. No one elected big balls. I just saw that. I had to bring it to you. It's too funny. But now we're starting to see politicians who are feeling their oats and understanding this is something we can get behind. They're seeing the wind of change. They're seeing that people are fed up with this. And so I'm going to show you a couple of politicians here who are like, you know what? I'm over it, and I'm going to make sure my people are okay.
The egregious waste and spending we saw. So, for example, the Biden USAID spent $1.5 million for advancing DEI in Serbia. They spent $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala. They spent $6 million for tourism in Egypt. They spent $1 million to help disabled people in Tajikistan become climate leaders. They spent another $1 million for Hamas, a Hamas-linked charity, and they spent $15 million for contraceptives and condoms in Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. Now, if you're a left-wing radical activist, that's music to your ears, but if you're just an American taxpayer, that is horrifying, which is why President Trump has come in and said enough is enough. We're going to stop this nonsense.
This is what is so truly incredible, that President Trump, along with the Doge team led by Elon Musk, come in about 2 weeks, rip up what has been going on, and USAID funding terrorism and coups and regime change and just ungodly, grotesque goulash around the globe. For 40 some odd years, it's been a problem. 2 weeks, we're done, Senator. We are done.
And that's what I think people have. That's my whole attitude in starting this video and talking to you, is this has been going on for so long. 40 years. So some of you who are around my age, and even people who are younger, understand you've been going to work every single day, every week, every year, for years upon years upon years, and you've seen that, basically 20, 30 years the government has been taking this money and been shipping it to all these different countries all over the place without you even knowing. And so now it bubbles up and people are actually seeing it. And one of the things I want you to understand is when they're talking to the poor peoples and they're telling people, hey, these rich people, these millionaires and billionaires, they're talking to the 50% of the country who pay no income tax. They have no skin in the game. All they are takers. And I'm not talking about those of you who are affirmed with illness or are retired. You put into this. You definitely have skin in the game. I'm talking about the 50%. Maybe it's, let's forget the retired, but let's say there's 35% of people who have no skin in the game whatsoever. And they're relying on you not only to take care of them, but to take care of people in other countries. And that's why I think we're seeing this groundswell of people like, oh, hell no. You realize, you can Google yourself. I encourage you to Google and look at some verifiable, true sources. And I want you to think and find out how much income tax is taken in each year. And when you look at that number, you're going to look at this and go, wait a second. So I'm paying income tax this much. You, me, and everything else. And because of this, we're giving all this money to the country. We can't find it. There are $5 billion that we can't even associate. Just know what that number is. I saw Elon, and he broke it down, and it's basically a 20,000. Let me see if I can find it. He was talking about $20,000 per person. Let me see if I can find this, because I saw this and it stunned me when I saw this, and I want to make sure I don't paraphrase, that I'm actually saying the right thing. Don't know how far down it is, but it's so compelling. Well, I can't find it right now, but if you can go ahead and Google, let me just, amount of income tax from individuals. Don't count businesses. If you put that in there, you're going to be amazed at what that number is. All right, so total income taxes collected from individuals, not corporations, is about $2 trillion. And I've seen this from a couple different sources, so it's got to be in that area. Let's call it 3 trillion. Let's call it 1.5. Call it whatever, anywhere in between there. But let's go with 2 trillion. So if collectively all the income tax collected in 1 year is 2 trillion, and with all this waste, Elon can say, I can cut 1 trillion just from what we're sending to these agencies, then you effectively have cut the need for income taxes down by 50%. And he's finding it. He's going through and he's starting to see this. We haven't gotten to Department of Defense yet. We haven't got to all these different agencies. But if you can just first year have the basis for saying, you know what? Now we need to cut income tax collection by 50%. How you feeling about that? If you, each one of you knows what you paid in for income tax last year, and what if that number in the next 6 months becomes 50% less? Now you're starting to really wait a second. We don't need all, the reason why we're collecting so much is so we can pay so much. You've been robbed. You have been robbed. Absolutely robbed. It's crazy. Government corruption. Yes. The Fed is printing money based on nothing. We are not backed by gold, just promises. Yep. Wait until we see the secret, the Social Security waste and Medicare. We also funded research over there. Yeah, I like this. Somebody wrote, it's too late to be wiping the hard drive. That was another thing. These people are so stupid, they don't realize at this point, they're already, I'm just looking at something, making sure, let me continue with this video.
Well, and look, this was desperately needed under Joe Biden. I blocked one of the senior appointees to USAID because USAID was flowing money to Gaza that was going straight to Hamas, and they were doing everything they could to hide that. And we're not going to do that. We are not going to allow this to happen. And I got to say, it's really striking to see the reaction of Democrats and a lot of folks in the media where they have convinced themselves that Elon Musk is the devil. I like the title of your segment just a moment ago about Doge derangement syndrome, because it really is that Elon is living rent-free in their brain, and I'm grateful that he is working round the clock to root this out and end it, and it's exactly what President Trump was elected to do.
I want to try to put in perspective what many of my Democratic friends have been talking about today. They're very, very, very upset at President Trump. And they're very, very, very upset at Elon Musk. President Trump ran for president on a number of issues. One of the issues he ran on, he said it almost every day. He said, if you elect me president, I'm going to go through the entire budget and review all the spending, line by line. If I heard him say that once, I heard him say it 1,000 times. And that's what he's been doing. He went out and appointed, through an executive order, Elon Musk, who some people like him, some don't, but he's not a dummy. He's a very successful business person. He's got a top secret security clearance. President Trump issued an executive order, and he turned to Mr. Musk, and he said, Mr. Musk, I want you to do for me what I said I was going to do in the election. I want you to go through all the spending, line by line. Now, let me ask you something, Mr. President. How are you going to review the spending without reviewing the spending? How are you going to audit the spending by an agency without auditing the agency? That's what I mean when I say common sense is illegal in Washington, D.C. That's what Mr. Musk is doing. He's put together a crackerjack team, and they're going through everybody's spending line by line, item by item. And my Democratic colleagues are very, very, very upset. And they've been very eloquent. They've talked about the process, and President Trump's executive order supposedly violates the Constitution. And they've accused Mr. Musk of having conflicts of interest. And so I've heard people say he's sitting over there with a notepad, copying down everybody's Social Security number, and he's going to go use it to make money. I mean, people in this town, not just my Democratic colleagues, they're really upset. They've never said anybody question their spending. But that's what Mr. Musk is doing. But you know what? I've listened. This has been going on for a week. People have been screaming like they're part of a prison riot. Oh, my God, look at what Musk is doing. He's looking at the spending. And I've listened to people talk about the process and debate whether it's constitutional and discuss how many lawyers can dance on the head of a pin. But you know what? I haven't heard one single person who's upset with President Trump or Mr. Musk talk about what he's found. They don't want to talk about the spending porn, the waste of taxpayer money that he's found. I mean, that's the point of all this. I tell you who is interested, the American people.
When I heard that, and I've got more of that to show you, that is the crux of what we're seeing right now. These people are screaming, but people are noticing. You're screaming about big balls and other people having access. By the way, did you know that Elon Musk had already had top secret clearance? They leave that out too. But in any event, they never talk about what was found on the phone. That's what I keep talking about. You've seen the movies, you've seen the stories where somebody finds a spouse cheating, or they went in their phone and they see him naked, or, exchanging pictures. And then the person comes in the room and like, well, what are you doing on my phone? Why are you looking? You invaded my privacy. That's the least of our worries right now, is the invasion of your privacy. What we got to talk about is what I'm seeing here. And that's exactly what's happening with the Democrats. They don't want to talk about the picture. They want to talk about the fact that Elon Musk is looking. But now the adults in the room are like, you're not talking about what he's found. Nowhere. Not with Joy Reid, not with Morning Joe, not with Margaret Brennahan on CBS. Nowhere are they talking about what was actually found. Nobody wants to discuss with the American people, why are we doing this? It's brushed over. It's no big deal. It's that phrase, this is how we've always done it. What don't you people understand? We've been giving away your money for 40 years. Why are you upset now? Because now we know. You see, we didn't know you were doing all this. Most people, even people in Congress, unfortunately, didn't know. We can never let this happen again. Everything has to be out there. I'm just looking at the different monitors so I can cut to this. Everything has to be out there. There can be no more wondering if somebody is spending $5 billion on some idea overseas for, the trans rats. And God, you cannot censor me for talking about trans rats, can you? I mean, seriously. I mean, we're talking some serious Frankensteinian stuff if you're trying to turn, not even go there. When Nancy May said that, my stomach turned. I'm like, but I do have a question. I thought it was you're born that way. I just saying. All right, so they're lining up. I see the Japanese crew coming out, getting ready. All of the, what do you call it? The entourage from the Japanese group. They're walking out right now, waiting for the American group to come out. The press is in place. It looks like one half of the room is going to be the Japanese press, and the other half of the room is going to be the American press. So we'll talk more about these governments, but it's absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts what we're seeing. And finally, you, me, we're seeing it and we're talking about it. None of this was talked about literally a month ago. It's been 1 month. Less. 3 weeks, 17 days. My dog's still barking out there. He doesn't like the delivery people. I apologize. But in any event, this is what's happened in just 3 weeks since this man has become president. And what we are seeing is the complete rollback of the curtain that nobody knew. I mean, seriously, how I feel? I almost feel like we got to start asking some politicians some questions. How did you not know? How did you never look into this? When you were doing all these omnibus deals and everything else, how did you not know that billions and possibly trillions of dollars were being spent to try and do, Baghdadian musicals or Ireland DEI? How did you not know? What, you cannot be that busy to tell me you didn't even look at where the money was going. The scariest part of all this is that we knew it a number of years ago, and now we're just finding it out. I'm going to show you this. But you remember the whole thing that got Biden in trouble. When Biden said, hey, listen, if you don't help out my son Hunter, then you're not going to get the money. And then, hey, son of a gun, he got fired. Well, that loan guarantee he was talking about, that money he was talking about, the $1 billion going to Ukraine was from USAID. It all goes back to Biden and Obama. And I'm sorry about the dog. I hope he's not interrupting you, but they're delivering furniture and he's going crazy. But it goes all the way back to there. Let me cut to the press conference so that I can put this on and see if I can't help Robin with what's going on out there. 1 second. Okay, let's cut.
The stage, and we'll hear what they have to say. Although I expect that they'll probably take fewer questions at this news conference than President Trump took during the Oval Office spread.
All right, that's a prediction. We'll be watching for that. As soon as that begins, we will go to that live. And meanwhile,
it's a good thing I didn't go out there, because I was like, they might be just setting it up, because on my other monitor I can see nobody walking out. So in addition to the press conference, Trump is also going to talk about something he mentioned at the prayer breakfast yesterday. At the prayer breakfast, he talked about the new faith office. The new faith office with, I believe, Paula White is going to head that. He's going to be talking about that today as well. So while we're waiting, let's continue with, here, they can tell you about this faith office. They're talking about it.
Aimed at combating what he calls anti-Christian bias. He spoke about that during the prayer breakfast the other day. Donald Trump appointing new Attorney General Pam Bondi to lead that charge.
Okay, so let's get straight to it with Shannon Bream, Fox News Sunday anchor and chief legal correspondent, live from the scene of the Super Bowl down there in New Orleans. Shannon, great to see you there. So What should we expect from this unveiling of the new White House Faith Office?
Well, we understand that Paula White, who is a spiritual advisor who's been close to President Trump for years, is going to be part of this, heading this up out of the White House as well. And they point to things like that memo that was circulating within some FBI offices about going after ardent Catholic followers and keeping an eye on them. Folks in Kash Patel's hearing, for example, were demanding, if you become head of the FBI, will you actually tell us who the author of that memo was? They want more details about those kinds of efforts. And enforcement of the FACE Act that many people believe has been used to target Catholic and evangelical pro-life supporters outside of clinics, and not been used to also enforce protections for pro-life pregnancy centers and places like that. So President Trump and those in his orbit have pointed to those things as something they think that these efforts will target and try to protect those folks.
So we noticed that not all of the delegation from the U.S. side is in yet, so we're still a couple of minutes away here. During the prayer breakfast, Donald Trump seemed to indicate that he has a greater appreciation of faith than he had prior to those 2 assassination attempts. Listen to what he said.
None of us knows exactly when our time on earth will be over. You never know. A truth I confronted a few short months ago. God was watching me. It changed something in me. I feel even stronger. I believed in God, but I feel much more strongly about it.
I mean, I don't want to assume that he had an epiphany, but something like that will change you as a person.
Can I interject? Yeah, it's an epiphany. It's an absolute epiphany. You could be dead, except for you happen to turn your head and a bullet from a rifle 170 yards away missed your noggin. Yeah, you could definitely see your life change at that point. I don't understand why it's hard for people to understand. If you've never been in a life-altering situation, and I don't mean physically, it could be financially, it could be emotionally, and you say there's no answer I have for this other than the fact of something intervened. And that something is God. Jesus Christ came down somehow with the Spirit and said, it's not your time yet. I got something for you to do first. And I think a lot of people, I'm not going to proselytize here, but if you know, many of you know, there have probably been times in your life where you absolutely had no answer for what happened. And yes, some people have gone through some really bad things, and they have the same question, why am I going through this? I don't know. I'm not questioning that. But on the other side, when something does happen, number one, accept it as a gift and understand that you need to live your life a different way moving forward. And so I think what we've seen with Trump, in no uncertain terms, is that he understands he's been given a new lease on life. And he's, number one, going to live it to his fullest. And what we've seen thus far in his presidency, I'm not leaving a single day up to chance. I am going to do everything possible for this country and make sure that this country understands I'm here to help lead you.
He's got dinner down in Florida with Republican senators at Mar-a-Lago, so we don't think he wants to be super late from that for that, and he should be here within the next couple minutes. The Japanese delegation is already here. 2 members of the cabinet, Doug Burgum and Chris Wright, are already here as well. Secretary Burgum, we're live right now. Can you come and tell me about the meeting? He said no.
Nice try. I like it.
We'll try. We'll try again when the president's here. But we do expect to get President Trump and the Japanese Prime Minister here within the next couple minutes. We are coming off of an administration where, for years, Joe Biden wanted to kind of talk about soft power and our relationship with Japan as in just a general kind of unspoken deterrent against Chinese aggression. We expect to hear a little bit about that, the future of AI, maybe some North Korea, and of course, once the questions get going, probably a few about Doge. John.
Can't imagine. I suppose anything could come up, and obviously on the federal workers that have agreed to step aside with pay through September. That could come up. Apparently, the number's now updated to 65,000.
Now, understand that. They're suing because he made the offer. Yet 65,000 federal employees as of this moment, as she just said, I think it's going to be higher. I think it'll reach 100,000 plus, have decided, yeah, I'm done. You're right. I'll take the 8-month furlough, whatever you want, and find another job and be gone. You can go ahead and do the math as to what the savings are on that. If I look further away from the camera, it's because I found the troublemaker. Are you done making noise? You ready to go back down there? I'm terrified. There's guys outside. But in any event, how can you sue if somebody is willing to leave? We all, I don't know all, but many of us have had severance packages. Hey, listen, we're going to give you this package. We're not going to, keep your position. Okay, that's fine. What are you paying me? Yep, got it. I don't understand how that's something that you can sue about if someone is willingly taking that money, especially if they've got some criminal issues, meaning if they were working another job while they were working for the government. The union's not going to be able to help you with that. Oh no, that's a whole other thing. All right, so while we're waiting for this, let me put this, number one, this dog on the ground. Cuteness. Yeah, he's very cute. He's so quiet when he's sitting with me. You don't want to say hi? I don't want to say hi right now. All right, go down. No growling. No making noise. Go lay down. Let's see here. They can go create jobs if they... Robin asked me a question this morning, which was very interesting as well. She's like, with all these people being deported, you hear the argument of who's going to do these jobs. Well, 65,000 people just got ready to leave their jobs, aren't they? She's like, they're not going to want to do it. They're not going to have a choice. They're not going to wait till that axe falls. Wait till Trump says, President Trump. Wait till President Trump says, you don't get welfare. And by taking the severance, you don't get unemployment. So you're not going to be able to go on welfare and food stamps if there's a job available for you. I guarantee you that's coming. That's going to be the next fight with the Democrats. All these people on welfare right now, all of you who are on welfare, well, all those jobs that you said the newcomers are doing because Americans wouldn't do? Housekeeping at hotels, working construction, all these things? Have at it. Well, I don't know how to do construction. Well, we'll get you an apprentice somewhere. And you can begin learning how to, do roofing. Or, half a dozen other jobs. There's a whole bunch of farms out there that need some food picking. Whatever it is. America has to get back to work. Everybody can't have a TikTok account. Everybody can't be an influencer. Some people are going to have to work. There is nothing wrong with a hard day's work. In fact, if you do a hard day's work, if you get out there and you're forced to, because you got to take care of your bills and your family, if you're forced to get out there and do some of this stuff, then maybe you could be as successful as Big Balls. I could resist. You heard them, they were almost laughing at his screen name, but at the same time, they're like, we looked up his background, and he's got 14 corporations, and he's got LLCs, and he's done this, and he's what, 21, 22? Is that a bad thing? I would love, my grandson is going to be 16, Ashley's going to kill me if I get this wrong. Oh, no, he's going to be 16 on April 1st. I would love, by the time he turns 17, a year from now, I would love if he had 4 or 5 corporations. Yesterday, we had a guy come out because Robin was expecting the new furniture today on the patio, just looking on Google and found someone to come out and pressure clean the patio. I had no idea. It was Sparkle Bot, and called it. Yeah, hey, how you doing? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Can you come over? Okay. I'll look overhead, and this is how good this kid was. We had 2 different people come. The other guy goes, can I come out and look at how big your patio is, and I'll give you an estimate. This kid says, hold on one second. Let me look it up on the computer, and I know exactly where he was going. He went to the property appraiser's website. And on the property appraiser's website, it's got a sketch of the layout of your house. And it tells you how much is under air, how much is outside in the patio. And he goes, looks like you have X number of square feet out there. It's going to cost you this much. I can do it today. Okay. And again, I'm saying kid because I didn't know. He gets here. I'm doing a show. And I walk out afterwards. And I asked Robin, because I see a kid out there doing it. And I'm like, what, the other guy didn't come? She goes, no, that's him. I said, how old is he? She's like 19. And is it his company? Yeah. He put up his website, did everything, bought a pressure cleaning. He has 2 units now. He's got 2 trucks, and he's out there pressure cleaning houses, roofs, and everything else. And I'm like, man, that's what America is supposed to be. That is what America is all about. Don't tell me you can't make it here. And you know, she talked to him. She's like, he's got 8 more jobs today. And I'm like, it's already 3 o'clock. How's he going to do it? She's like, off to the next one, 8 more jobs. She goes, kid probably makes $1,000 a day. Pressure washing. And he's got 2 trucks. So he's got his brother running the other truck. So imagine that. Imagine 2 kids, 19 and 20, 21, with a new pressure washing business. And they created a website. Obviously, he has an LLC because the check went to the name of the company. And between these 2 trucks, these kids are making $2,000 a day. And they're killing it. That's America. And it reminded me back when I was younger when, you know, all of us used to take the snow shovel in Connecticut and like walk through the neighborhood. Hey, can I shovel your driveway? Give me $20 and you shovel the driveway. And then some of them became very enterprising. And I remember laughing at one of the kids who asked his dad if he would buy him a snowblower. And Dad's like, okay, let's see what he goes. I'm going to go around the neighborhood. And the dude outbid me. He goes, I can do it for 15 because it only took him like 10 minutes. And now the kid has he's got a 4 seasons. He rakes leaves and he does all kinds of stuff around the house to different snow blowing, ice de-icing, all kinds of stuff like that. He's got a company. James says, I was at Fort Benning at 18. There you go. If anyone is not willing to work, let him not eat. That's in the Bible. That's in the Bible. Yeah, he's a go-getter. I was shocked. I walked out there. I was like, did the other guy couldn't come, or is this his helper? And she goes, that's his company. And I'm like, what? I started working at 17 and joined the U.S. Navy. I don't think I'll ever retire. I hear you. No kids come around to my house to ask me to mow, rakes, or like, yeah, isn't that strange? No kids come to my house to ask to mow or rake leaves for money. It's strange. Very strange. I knew when I woke up in the morning, living in Connecticut, and when I woke up in the morning, I knew it's snowing. Get your butt out of bed because you got a lot of competition running around the neighborhoods trying to see if they could shovel snow. You had to wait until it accumulated a little bit, but then you got out there. And to think now that there are kids sitting there playing video games, not understanding there's money to be made. There's money to while your friends are doing this. If you grab the shovel, but in addition to that, you're going to get in decent shape. And here's where the gold is. You find an area with some retirees or some elderly people. I'm talking up north, where you don't want to have these people shoveling snow. Every single year you hear people having heart attacks shoveling snow. Man, that was my money. That was money spot. I would get out into those neighborhoods. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Holmstein? How you doing? And just knock on the door. Hey, Barrison, you want to do it for $20? I'm there. And I'd come home with $100 in a pocket. And you imagine what did you live on back then as a kid for $100? Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're getting ready to talk about. SB just sent me something. He's talking about Paula White. And so that's what we're waiting for right now. They haven't come out yet. I'm just checking different monitors. All right, so let me go back here. I picked fruit during the holidays in vineyards. Yeah, all these things we did as kids. These kids today don't understand it. So people that can't work, they don't get to eat. No, that's not what I said. I always get that one who comes in who didn't listen. I said, I'm not talking about the affirmed. Affirmed meaning, people who can't do things. If you can't work, then yes, you should be getting as much help as possible for whatever it is that the health issue that doesn't allow you to work, and so that you can eat. But other than that, no, you don't get food stamps and welfare. And there's no argument, P-Dub, you can give me why somebody who's not affirmed, somebody who's not disabled for any reason, physically or mentally, there's no reason that person cannot work. I challenge you. I challenge you to tell me why that person should be given assistance if they can work. And you got a whole bunch of people here. There's, I don't know, maybe 14,000 people here. You're going to have to explain to them how. Why should I be paying if you're capable? Drug testing if you want pennies. I'm on SSI disability and oh, wow. So Jeff says he's on SS and he doesn't even take food stamps. So you explain to Jeff why, if you're able to work and you don't, why we should be paying for you. Because understand what you're saying. And I've had this argument with Democrats and liberals before. Same thing with some of the other stuff they do. You're making a personal choice. I don't want to work. Okay, well then you're making a personal choice not to eat. Because we shouldn't have to pay for your foods if you choose not to eat. I can choose not to pay for your food. So when Trump puts this out there and says, if you're capable, there's a big asterisk. Everybody watching, understand Barry's not being insensitive. I'm not saying, people who are disabled mentally or physically shouldn't be able to be taken care of. No. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about people who are able-bodied, able-minded, and have no reason why they can't be out there doing anything. Every Thursday and Monday, the garbage truck comes by my house, and those guys that come out there, and they got to lift some heavy stuff, but they're still garbage men, and they're doing the job. What makes you any better? I don't care. I used to work at the government, and I used to, okay, well, you can go around and look for jobs at companies in case they need someone like you. And if you don't, then you better look at, hanging on the back of the garbage truck. No shame in the game. Do what you got to do. If you got to eat, if you got to be clothed, if you need someplace to live, get on the back of that garbage truck until you don't have to be on the back of that garbage truck. No shame in that game. None. I will never, ever look at somebody on a garbage truck and say, look at that, look. No, never going to happen. I salute you. I salute you because society doesn't move without those people on that garbage truck. So every time I go out there, I say hi to those guys. I told you, we give them tips around Christmas. The country doesn't move without people doing the jobs other people are unwilling to do. So, all right, here we go. It's starting. Let's get there.
Remember that day. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. I'm delighted to welcome Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba Shigeru to the White House for the first time. And Prime Minister, it's an honor to have you with us, a great honor. Japan is a great country. Thank you very much. Japan is strong and proud. It's a nation that is home to one of the great civilizations in the history of the world. For nearly 80 years, the American-Japanese people have enjoyed a friendship like few others. We've had a great friendship across the vast ocean and found ourselves united by bonds of history, commerce, culture, mutual admiration, and great respect. After our meeting today, I'm confident that the cherished alliances between our two countries and others also will continue to flourish long and into the future. The military cooperation between the United States and Japan is one of our closest security partnerships, and it's one of the closest we have anywhere in the world. Our service members.
The other voice you're hearing is the translator. You're going to hear when Trump's talking, the Japanese translator, and when the Japanese prime minister is talking, you're going to hear probably an American translator.
Of money because of my first term. We worked on that very hard with Shinzo, the great Shinzo Abe, and we look forward to seeing even more so. Shinzo and I worked very, very long and hard, and those numbers are very reflective after my first term. And now they're going up very substantially based on our conversations today. In addition to being vital for our shared security, Japan is one of the top purchasers of U.S. military exports and equipment. And I'm pleased to say that this week my administration approved nearly $1 billion in foreign military sales to Tokyo. The United States is totally committed to the security of Japan. We will extend the full strength of American deterrence capabilities in defense of our friend and ally, 100%. In the years to come, the Prime Minister and I will be working closely together to maintain peace and security, and I also say peace through strength, and all over the Indo-Pacific. And to that end, we also remain committed to the effort I began in my first term to ensure safety and stability on the Korean Peninsula. Prime Minister Ishiba and I spoke long and hard about a vital economic relationship between our two countries and the continuance of that relationship. The United States and Japan trade over $300 billion in goods and services each year. Japan has invested nearly $800 billion, and that's going to go up very, very substantially in the coming months, more than any other country. And they're going to have some competition. We have a lot of people coming in and investing in the United States. I think the feeling throughout the world has never been stronger about this country. As a result of our victory in 2024, the presidential election, the Japanese investment and technology giant SoftBank announced plans to invest between $100 and $200 billion. And we have many other companies investing that number, higher than that number, some a little bit less, but we have trillions of dollars of investment pouring into our country now that you didn't have just a short while ago. Today, our teams discussed how our two nations can do even more to stay on the cutting edge of artificial intelligence, along with the quantum computing, semiconductors, and other critical technologies. And they're coming out. The problem with technology, that kind, it's obsolete in about 2 days, so we have to start all over again. Doesn't last long. We agreed to cooperate even more closely to combat the Chinese economic aggression, which is quite aggressive. I'm also pleased to announce that Japan will soon begin importing historic new shipments of clean American liquefied natural gas in record numbers. It'll be record numbers. With our Secretary of the Interior, we were talking, I think Doug is here. Hello, Doug. Please stand up, Doug. Doug Burgum, everybody. We're talking about the pipeline in Alaska, which is the closest point of major oil and gas to Japan by far, less than half the distance of any other location. We're talking about a joint venture of some type between Japan and us, having to do with Alaska oil and gas, and that's very exciting. They're very excited about it, so are we. As we deepen our economic relationship, I made clear that the United States will be conducting trade with all countries based on the principle of fairness and reciprocity. Chronic trade deficits not only undermine our economy, they really do, and we're going to get rid of the trade. We have a trade deficit with Japan of over $100 billion, but we're going to work that out, and I think very quickly, frankly. We can do it just on oil and gas. We can work it out, so we intend to do it very quickly. We both understand that. And as America welcomes new foreign investment, we also want to ensure that companies build their products and factories here in America, not simply buy the assets that we have. And Japan is going to be opening up auto plants. New auto plants are being built currently as we speak. They've just been started. Toyota's one, and Nissan's going to be doing something very exciting about U.S. Steel. They'll be looking at an investment rather than a purchase. We didn't like the idea. U.S. Steel is a very important company to us. It was the greatest company in the world for 15 years, many years ago, 80 years ago. And we didn't want to see that leave. And it wouldn't actually leave, but the concept, psychologically not good. So they've agreed to invest heavily in U.S. Steel as opposed to own it. And that sounds very exciting. And we're going to meet with Nissan next week, the head of Nissan, very great company. And they'll work out the details. I'll help. I'll be there to mediate and arbitrate. And I had the privilege of working closely with the great Prime Minister, as you know, and you know him very well, Shinzo Abe, the longest-serving Prime Minister in Japan's history. Likewise, I expect that this Prime Minister is going to be a great one. I really believe that he's going to be a great one. I've gotten to know him for not long, but I can see what they have. He's got the qualities of greatness. He's going to do a fantastic job for Japan and for the Japanese people. And I'd like now to invite the Prime Minister to say a few words, and then we'll take some questions. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. President Trump, I would like to sincerely thank you for inviting me to the White House today, immediately following your inauguration. I also thank you for your very warm hospitality. I have come to Washington, D.C. with the hope of having a face-to-face meeting and deepening our mutual understanding at this early date with President Trump, who is now leading the United States, the most important country for Japan's diplomacy and security, and aligning our perspectives and visions that Japan and the United States should pursue. What should we do to advance the national interests of both of our countries in synergy and to realize peace and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific? I am convinced that the answer lies in further strengthening the strong and unwavering Japan-U.S. alliance to achieve a free and open Indo-Pacific. President and I concurred to strengthen the deterrence and response capabilities of the alliance and to work closely in addressing strategic challenges that both countries are facing in this region. I conveyed to the President that Japan, as an ally of the United States, is ready to share responsibilities and to play its own role. I also reiterated Japan's unwavering commitment to fundamentally reinforcing its defense capabilities, and we confirmed the unwavering commitment by the United States to the defense of Japan. We reaffirmed that Article 5 of the Japan-U.S. Treaty of Mutual Cooperation and Security applies to the Senkaku Islands, with half of the world's population and approximately 60% of the world's GDP. The Indo-Pacific serves as the engine of growth and vitality for Japan, the United States, and the world. President and I also concurred that the United States and Japan will make further efforts in a wide range of areas, working hand in hand together to realize a free and open Indo-Pacific. In this context, we also concurred to further advance cooperation of the multi-layered networks of the like-minded countries, including the Quad and trilateral cooperation with the Republic of Korea and the Philippines. We also discussed Japan-United States cooperation to bring about growth and prosperity. Economic cooperation, including on economic security, is important from the perspective of strengthening alliance cooperation. Japan is the closest economic partner of the United States and has been the world's largest investor in the United States for 5 consecutive years. Also, with the inauguration of President Trump, the momentum for Japanese companies to invest in the United States is growing even stronger. Today, I conveyed my willingness to cooperate together to elevate Japan's investment in the United States to an unprecedented amount of $1 trillion. President Trump and myself also concurred to elevate the Japan-U.S. partnership to an even higher level through improving business environment and increasing bilateral investment and employment, strengthening each other's industries, leading the world in developing advanced technologies such as AI and leading-edge semiconductors, and strongly promoting efforts to harness the energy of the growing market in the Indo-Pacific region. We also confirmed that we will cooperate to strengthen energy security between the two countries, including increasing exports of United States liquefied natural gas to Japan in a mutually beneficial manner. Regarding foreign exchange, as in the first Trump administration, close discussions will continue between Japanese and the U.S. finance ministers who are experts in this field.
We also held candid discussions on challenges the Indo-Pacific region is facing. We confirmed that we are resolved not to allow unilateral attempts to change the status quo by force or coercion, and to oppose such attempts in the East and South China Seas in order to fully defend a free and open Indo-Pacific. We also reiterated the importance of peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait. Regarding North Korea, we affirmed the need to address its nuclear and missile program, which poses a serious threat to Japan, the U.S., and beyond, and that Japan and the U.S. will work together toward the complete denuclearization of North Korea. As the abductees and their families continue to age, I conveyed my strong sense of urgency and determination directly to President Trump, and gained his renewed strong support for the immediate resolution of the abductions issue. While this was my first face-to-face meeting with President Trump, we were able to openly and frankly exchange views, and our meeting turned out to be very productive and meaningful. As a result of today's meeting, which marked a new departure for the Japan-U.S. relations, we are issuing a Japan-U.S. Joint Leader Statement. This document will serve as a compass for further cooperation between our two countries. On the basis of these deliverables, I look forward to working together with President Trump, who I respect immensely, to usher in a new golden age of Japan-U.S. relations. I look forward to welcoming you to Japan, and I'm very excited about that prospect. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Any questions, please? Peter?
President Trump, I have two on Doge. Elon Musk said today, I love Donald Trump as much as a straight man can love another man. What does the First Lady think about that?
Oh, I think she'll be okay with it somehow.
So, Democratic lawmakers are really upset that Doge engineers have access to these Treasury payment systems. The Senate Intel Dems wrote a letter to Susan Wiles. They're saying that these systems are used to disperse trillions of dollars each year and contain everyday Americans' personal information like social security numbers, home addresses, bank accounts. Why does Doge need all of that stuff?
Well, it doesn't, but they get it very easily. I mean, we don't have very good security in our country, and they get it very easily. And what we're doing, if you look at what has just taken place with respect to some of the investments that have been made on another agency that people have been talking about for years, but nobody did anything about it. It's absolutely obscene, dangerous, bad, very costly. I mean, virtually every investment made is a con job. There's nothing of value to anybody unless there's a kickback scheme going on, which is possible.
And we're going to be doing more and more of that. We're going to be looking at Department of Education. We're going to be looking at even our military. We're going to be looking at tremendous amounts of money, Peter, being spent on things that bear no relationship to anything and have no value. We're talking about trillions of dollars. It will be, in the end, trillions of dollars being absolutely wasted and perhaps illegally. I would say certainly in many cases illegally, but perhaps illegally overall. And I'm very proud of the job that this group of young people, generally young people, but very smart people, they're doing. They're doing it at my insistence. It would be a lot easier not to do it, but we have to take some of these things apart to find the corruption. And we found tremendous corruption.
You mentioned the Department of Education. What do you think when you saw Democratic lawmakers trying to get into the Department of Education earlier today?
Oh, I see the same ones. I see Maxine Waters, a lowlife. I see, all these people. They don't love our country. They don't love our country. We want great education. So they rank 40 countries in education. We're ranked dead last. But the good news is we're number one in one category. You know what that is? Cost per pupil. We spend more per pupil than any other country in the world. You look at Norway, Denmark, Sweden, various countries all up and down, Finland, China does very well in education. And then you look at us, we spend much more money than they do per pupil or any other way, but we spend much more money than they do, and yet we're ranked this year, Biden's last year, congratulations, Joe, we're ranked dead last. So what I want to see is education. Number one, I like choice. We all like choice. But beyond choice, long beyond choice, I want to see it go back to the states where great states that do so well have no debt. They're operated brilliantly. They'll be as good as Norway or Denmark or Sweden or any of the other highly ranked countries. They'll be, you probably have 35 to 38 states will be right at the top. And the rest will come along. They'll have to come along competitively. And by the way, we'll be spending a lot less money. And we'll have great education.
As part of this DOGE cost-cutting effort, one of the DOGE engineers was fired for some inappropriate posts. The vice president says, bring him back. What do you say?
I don't know about the particular thing, but if the vice president said that, did you say that? I'm with the vice president. Thank you, Peter. Yeah, go ahead, please. Yes, red dress.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. How long do you want Japan's military to be? And do you specifically hope that their increased military spending will deter China and North Korea? What did you talk about that today?
Well, I want our military to be the strongest. I also don't mind spending so much money on the military because we build it here. It's made in the USA, all made in the USA. We have, I rebuilt our military during my first term. Did a great job. We left some of it behind in Afghanistan, stupidly. There was no reason for that, but it was still as much as it was. It was billions and billions of dollars, but it was a small part of it. But we're going to have the strongest military by far. We have great people. I want to congratulate Pete Hegseth for having gone through the gauntlet. He went through a lot, but he got through, and he's going to be a tremendous, I have no doubt he's going to be a tremendous leader. And other of the leaders sitting here, they're in their own fields, we're going to do something very, very, very great, and we expect great things. But I expect the strongest military by far in the world, far stronger than China, far stronger than anybody, and that's the way it is. Thank you very much. Would you like to ask a question, please? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
This is Hiramoto from Nippon Television. My question, let me ask two quick questions.
Sure.
First, this is the first meeting between Mr. President and Prime Minister Ishiba. So what kind of impression do you have on him? And number two, do you have an idea or do you have a plan to impose tariff against Japan so far? Thank you.
I think that he is going to be a great prime minister. I think he's a very strong man, very, very strong. I have great respect for him. I've known him for a long time through a reputation. Shinzo Abe thought the world of him, and I think he's going to do a fantastic job as prime minister. A very strong person. I wish he wasn't so strong. I wish he was a little bit weaker than that, but that's what I got. I have to get strong guys all the time. He's going to be a great prime minister. I also in terms of tariffs, I mean, we're going to have tariffs, mostly reciprocal tariffs, where we go with, and I'm going to be probably meeting on that Monday or Tuesday, have an announcement, probably a news conference, but probably reciprocal tariffs where a country pays so much or charges us so much, and we do the same. So very reciprocal, because I think that's the only fair way to do it. That way, nobody's hurt. They charge us, we charge them. It's the same thing. And I seem to be going in that line as opposed to a flat fee tariff. Okay? Yes, go, please. Please, go ahead. Why don't you go ahead?
This is Ota from Yomiuri Shimbun newspaper. I have a question for Prime Minister Ishiba. So this is your very first summit meeting. What was your impression of President Trump? Were you able to build a good relationship of trust and confidence? In Northeast Asia, there are many challenges, China, North Korea, and so forth. And with President Trump, what did you appeal to him, and what kind of understanding were you able to obtain? On the economic field, there is the acquisition of U.S. Steel, the buy Nippon Steel, and there are expansion of import of LNG. What were the communication discussion did you have with President Trump for the $1 trillion of investment from Japan to investment? What was his reaction? What about your communication on tariff front? This is the first time. And he has the very strong personality. But when I met with him, actually, he was very sincere and very powerful and with strong will for the United States as for the whole world. I was able to feel that. This is not the sort of polishing or trying to suck up to him. For the world peace and for the regional stability that both of our countries need I was able to feel that. This is not the sort of polishing or expenditures. It is not that we are told by the United States to do so. Japan, on our own decision and on our own responsibility, we need to increase our defense expenditures. But of course, we need to communicate and consult with the United States. But the responsibility is with Japan, and the decision is with Japan. Now, on our own decision and on our own responsibility, we need to increase our defense expenditures. But of course, we need to communicate and consult with the United States. But the responsibility is with Japan, and the decision is with Japan. Now, on the tariffs, that if it is mutually beneficial, tariffs need to be set. And as for Japan, as Mr. President has introduced to us, an unprecedented investment will be made from Japan to the United States, and so many jobs will be created. So $1 trillion is the target. And this will be to the benefit of the United States, but also to the benefit of Japan as well. Investment is mutually beneficial. So be it with the U.S. Steel, as Mr. President says, it is not acquisition, it is investment. So the Japanese technology will be provided, and the better quality products will be manufactured in the United States, and the U.S. Steel will make products which will contribute not only to the United States and Japan, but also to the whole world. It is not one-sided. It will be reciprocal. It will be mutually beneficial. And I believe we were able to share on this, and that is the biggest result that I have seen today.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Edward Lawrence from Fox Business. I wanted to ask you about that U.S. Steel deal. So you're saying that is this a
Is this a restructuring of the deal that's happening, and then will you approve?
They're doing it as an investment, no longer a purchase.
Okay.
I didn't want it purchased, but investment I love. And they're going to do a big investment, subject to getting the deal done.
And that's
they'll be
something
doing
you
a
would
big.
approve? Where the US,
I'm okay with that, sure.
And for the Prime Minister, what was your argument to the President related to U.S. Steel? And one more on tariffs, Mr. President, if I could. You said on tariffs that you'd like them to be reciprocal, back and forth. What was the reception from the Japanese Prime Minister when you said that, or when you talked
Well, we didn't discuss tariffs too much. We really discussed many other things, including the pipeline in Alaska, which I think is going to be maybe the most exciting thing with Doug and Chris. We discussed that at length, the pipeline. I mean, it seemed to be of great interest to them. We have potentially more oil and gas than in Saudi Arabia, just in Alaska. We have the most of any country in the world. It's a big asset for the United States, but we haven't used it. We go to Venezuela, we go to other places to take oil and gas, and we have more than anybody. It's an amazing phenomenon that took place over the last 4 years. Nobody understands it, including the people that were in charge of it. They had no clue what they were doing. So it was a big problem. They were surprised actually too. They were saying why didn't they wouldn't sell them LNG. They wouldn't sell it. Japan wanted to buy LNG, and Biden wouldn't sell it. And I'm trying to figure that one out. Maybe it was the environment. You might answer that question. He's curious about that himself, I think. Thank you very much. If you want to answer that, you may, about LNG, that the United States wouldn't sell you LNG.
That was a really unfortunate thing, but the current administration, the previous administration was not allowing the LNG to be exported to us. I believe that President Trump, on the day of his inauguration, allowed us to resume this importing. I think this is something that is really wonderful for us. And as the country of Japan, we are interested in importing not just LNG, but also bioethanol, ammonia, and other resources at a stable price, a reasonable price from the United States. And we also want to improve the trade deficit that the U.S. has towards Japan. So if we are able to buy those at a stable and reasonable price, I think it would be a wonderful situation. And for that, I am very appreciative to President Trump. And we also look forward to LNG and hope that it's a success.
I want to just say that on the ethanol, Iowa is going to be very happy. All of the Nebraska, all of our farm states are going to be very happy. They want ethanol, and we'll be able to provide it. So our farmers, who I like and they like me, I think they're going to be very, very happy. We've opened the sale of LNG immediately. Actually, we did it a few days ago. And China, right now, not only China, everybody wants to buy it. We have more than anybody, and they're all buying it. But Japan in particular, we're very happy that they're going to start immediately. And we can supply it to the world, but we're supplying it to Japan, and they can always be right up in the front of the line. Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Mr. Prime Minister, I have a question for you as well, but Mr. President, I'll start with you. Well, quickly to follow up on what Peter was asking, have you directed Elon Musk to review Pentagon spending, given it's the biggest discretionary spending
Yes,
in
I
the
have
federal
Pentagon,
budget?
education, just everything. We're going to go through everything, just as it was so bad with what we just went through with this horrible situation we just went through. And I guess 97% of the people have been dismissed. It was very, very unfortunate. You're not going to find anything like that, but you're going to find a lot. And I've instructed him to go check out education, to check out the Pentagon, which is the military. And, sadly, you'll find some things that are pretty bad, but I don't think proportionally you're going to see anything like we just saw.
FBI has turned over a list to the Justice Department of the FBI agents who worked on the January 6 rioters cases. Are you planning to fire the FBI agents who worked on those investigations?
No, but I'll fire some of them because some of them were corrupt. I have no doubt about that. I got to know a lot about that business, that world. I got to know a lot about that world, and we had some corrupt agents, and those people are gone, or they will be gone, and it'll be done quickly and very surgically. Did you have a question for the Prime Minister? Talk up.
Are those the ones who worked on the January 6th?
I don't know. I know we have some that are very corrupt and we don't like it. We're going to bring back the reputation of the FBI. Kash Patel is going to do a great job. And we're going to bring back the reputation of the FBI, which has been hurt very badly. It's been devastated over the last 4 years.
You have just been meeting for the first time with President Trump. The last administration famously did not have hardly any, if at all, contact with North Korea. President Trump certainly did the last time he was in office. Would you like to see him resume that contact and also that in-person meeting that he had with the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un?
That is something that the United States needs to determine on its own, and it's not something that we should request. Having said that, but for example, in Vietnam or Singapore, the President of the United States, President Trump, was able to meet with Kim Jong-un. I think that's a very positive development. So now that President Trump is in power again, if we are able to move towards resolving issues with the North Korea, I think it would be great. And of course, for us, that includes not only denuclearization, but also resolving the abductee issue. And so not only the victims of the abductees, but also their families too are aging. And so our time is limited. So if the President of the United States, if President Trump is able to resolve this issue, we do understand that it's a Japan issue first and foremost. Having said that, we would love to continue to cooperate with them.
It's actually a good question, and we will have relations with North Korea and with Kim Jong-un. I got along with him very well, as you know. I think I stopped the war. I think if I wouldn't have won that particular election, you would have ended up in a very bad situation. But I did, and we had a good relationship, and I think it's a very big asset for everybody that I do get along with him. I get along with him, he gets along with me, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing. And I can tell you that Japan...
Lawful power grab. Is there anything you've told Elon Musk he cannot touch?
Well, we haven't discussed that much. I'll tell him to go here, go there. He does it. He's got a very capable group of people. Very capable. They know what they're doing. They'll ask questions, and they'll see immediately as somebody gets tongue-tied that they're either crooked or don't know what they're doing. We have very smart people going in, so I've instructed him go into education, go into military, go into other things as we go along, and they're finding massive amounts of fraud, abuse, waste, all of these things. So, but I will pick out a target, and I say go in. There could be areas that we won't, but I think everything's fertile. You know, we're a government. We have to be open. And as an open government, I don't know, I guess you could say maybe some high intelligence education, or something. And I'll do that myself if I have to. But generally speaking, I'll just say go. But he will be looking at education pretty quickly, and he will be looking at military too.
You know, bulk of federal spending is Social Security, Medicare, programs like that. Would you like to see him look at those programs as well?
Well, they don't really have to be looked at by him. They can be looked at by us. Social Security will not be touched. It'll only be strengthened. We have illegal immigrants on Social Security, and we're going to find out who they are and take them out. We have illegal immigrants in other Medicare. We found a lot of bad people, a lot of people that shouldn't be on, that were put on through California. A lot of them come out of California. We're not going to stand for that. So we're going to strengthen our Social Security, et cetera. We're not going to touch it other than to make it stronger. But we have people that shouldn't be on, and those people we have to weed out. Most of them, or many of them so far, have been illegal immigrants. They shouldn't even be in the country. Do you have a question for the Prime Minister?
I do. Mr. Prime Minister, the President's affinity for tariffs is well known. If the U.S. places tariffs on Japanese imports, would Japan retaliate?
I am unable to respond to a theoretical question. That's the official answer that we have.
That's a very good answer. Very good answer. Wow. That's very good. He knows what he's doing. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
All right, so we got some answers from that press conference. I don't know what it is with Caitlin Collins. I really don't. I mean, you have the opportunity to be a reporter at the White House, and it just doesn't make any sense why you would act the way that you do. Did you really think that the President of the United States was going to say something to you that you were possibly going to, I don't know, trip him up on? And I forget who asked that stupid question about, what was it? Your vice president it might have been her. Your vice president had to say this or that. Somebody clipped a meme, and look at that. JD Vance looks at her like that, and at that point, you probably realize, nah, I shouldn't have asked that. My career, as I know it, is probably over. All right, so let's recap what some of the salient points, because they talked about U.S. Steel. The big thing that jumps off the page, another $1 trillion commitment in investing in the United States. $1 trillion. And the only thing I keep saying with this, and that should have just basically been something that smacked these reporters upside the head. They should have realized at that point, you're not in Kansas anymore. This isn't the Biden administration. This is a man out there cutting deals left and right. If I were you, I would put together, like I talk about, a war room so you can see all the different things, because if you mapped all this out, you would look like Andy Reid on the sidelines at the Super Bowl with the chart that says, when this happens, this is what happens. You can see specifically, if you start putting these things together, the ultimate game plan that Trump is putting together. You can follow along. And what I'm seeing with the taxation and these guys cutting expenses and investment coming into the country is, we're going to find out. I don't know how long it's going to take. Maybe it takes 3 months. Maybe it takes a year. We are going to find out how much money we really need to take in from our citizens. What does income tax really need to be? Because if I can raise money by doing deals with different countries and I can lower expenses, I mean, pretty much what you do in your own household. If I pay less and I know what I need to bring in more, we can go on that vacation. And so right now, there's a lot of analysis that must be happening. Trump must be looking at every single dime. And he used a word. Somebody put it in the chat. He said target. I'm going to target this. Again, right over the head of these reporters. I'm going to target. I tell him what to target. So there's a game plan. This isn't just, let's go over and look at the Department of Education. There is a war room. There is a target. There is a plan. They've put this together for months, if not years, and said, if I win the election, here's what we're going to do. He didn't keep telling us this on the campaign trail, and then on November 5th go, okay, guys, let's figure out how we do this. Nope. He had this put together. Somebody, somewhere, people put the time in to come in and say, okay, here's how we do it systematically. You're seeing it. There is no possible way this type of execution could have happened in just a couple months. They have game planned all of this. And the Democrats aren't ready because they weren't not even thinking that he would come in and look at things in this manner. Number one, they probably didn't think he was going to get elected because the media lied to everybody and said that Kamala was ahead. So it's going to be the same as it's been. And now they're caught with their pants down, and we see a little bitty weedy because they don't have big balls. They got caught with their pants down coming out the cold end of the pool. Shrinkage, as George Costanza said. And they get a lot of shrinkage going on right now, to the point where they're screaming and running around and not understanding what to do. You can't react to this if you've never had to react to this. See, that's the other thing. You can only win and beat that other team if you know what's coming and you've seen the game plan and if you've watched the films and everything. I put it into a sports analogy. You can look at what happened to my sorry-ass Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins get Tyreek Hill, and they're doing different things with a new head coach, and it's like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? It's like, it's going crazy. But it only works for a little while until people figure you out. And now that the rest of the league has the Dolphins figured out, we see what's happening. That and the fact that we have a noodle-noggin quarterback. But in any event, a good opponent will figure you out. They will see what you're doing and go, oh, okay, so they're doing this, which means we need to counteract by doing this. And the Democrats can't counter anything he's doing. They've used all of their currency. Oh, he's a Nazi. Oh, he's a racist. He's a fascist. And blah, 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 blah. And women's rights and trans rights. No, it didn't work. And that's all you got. And so now he's basically executing on a free field. You can't stop him. Yeah, you're going to run a court. Yeah, I know. You're going to run this court. Yeah, this judge is going to say this. We know this is going to happen. But in the interim, where the score is really being run up, where the score is really taking place, that's what you guys have to be looking at. Let me show you something. Yesterday we had Mark Rasmussen on the show. And one of the things I said to Mark was, how is all of this affecting Democrats in terms of the voters? Because people now have got to be seeing this, and one of the things people have to be seeing is what exactly is going on. Because it's being exposed in real time, and people see it. They can't get away from it. Let me see what Mark said. See if I can find this. Because when I saw him say this was stunning. All right. Oh, it's not there anymore. Anyway. One of the things that Mark said this morning that is less than 25% are supporting the Democrats right now. That's how far they're falling. Less than 25%. If that holds up, as he begins polling and seeing those numbers, if they're only getting like 25% of the total electorate, they are history. I think they're history anyway. So, anyway, so he talked about that. Then, the prime minister, because somebody asked him, LNG, ethanol, he said, Biden wouldn't sell it to us. Why wouldn't Biden sell liquid natural gas, which we have a boatload of, to a potential buyer? Well, that's an easy answer. Because it would make us more prosperous. The idea wasn't to make America prosperous, it was to take us down to our knees. To the point where you got an ally, not just some country, a strong ally of America saying, we'll buy it. Nah, we're not selling it. That's intentional. There's no reason. Oh, well, you don't want to dig it. LNG, it's bad for the climate, so we don't want you to have it either. Obviously, he talked about education. I love that answer. If you guys weren't following that answer, that was his full facial to the left. We're dead last in scores. We're number one in spending per pupil. Something wrong there. That's like having a roster of all-stars and you're paying them $1 million or $5, $10, $20 million each, and you're not performing. You're not winning. Sort of like MSNBC and CNN. You're paying all these all these hosts all this money per host, and your ratings suck. It doesn't take a huge business person to look at this and go, this ain't making any sense. How can my spending be tops, but my results be last? Every single one of you, no matter what your experience is, no matter where you've worked before, it doesn't matter. You will know that if you look at a balance sheet and you see your spending is way high and your results are in the toilet, something's really wrong. You would do that on day one. You get your job and go, wow, we're spending this. Doesn't make any sense. It tells you right there that that's probably intentional or something else, criminal. How can you be number one in the world in per pupil spending and have such bad results? Well, I think that's one of the things. Then, which probably is going to make the people at CNN and MSNBC's heads explode. When he said the word target, he was talking about the Pentagon and the Department of Education. But the biggest thing I took from that press conference, and those of you watching may have seen it as well, I see some people saying he looks tired. Well, I'd expect him to be tired. I'm tired. I don't have the weight of the world on my shoulders, and I'm tired just keeping up with this guy. He's 78 years old. I know he has access to the best food and the best health and advisors and vitamins and everything, but it's still tiring. But what gets me enthused is he's still going. There's somebody who takes a picture every morning of the White House, and the Oval Office is light in the Oval Office is always on at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. He's out there getting ready. He's out there working. So he's going to have this meeting, and then from here he's going to be talking to whoever, and then he's going to fly to coming back down here to Mar-a-Lago this afternoon, and then he's going to go to the Super Bowl tomorrow. So I'm sure he's going to have something to say when he gets to the airport. I think it's like 4 or 5 o'clock. But the thing I keep noticing when I watch him, the man, he's a great poker player, but he doesn't. It's authentic. And what do I notice that maybe you did, maybe you didn't? He doesn't look phased. He's looking like everything I'm doing is what I've planned to do. I know you're going to run to court. Now, back it up. If you know now that none of this could have happened in 2 months, that they've been game planning all this, well, on the other side of the coin, you have to also realize they've game planned what my opponent is going to do. Even though you're fighting against a weaker opponent, they are going to have a response. What is that response going to be? Well, they only have one. Actually, they have two. One is they're going to run to the media and cry and bitch and moan in every chance they get. Number two, they're going to run to the courts and bitch and moan every chance they get. And Biden spent the last part of a year putting in all these activist judges so that they could do the stuff that they're doing. All planned. Nothing surprised yet. And as I've been watching this, have you been surprised? You know it's coming. If you know everything he puts out there now, they're going to scream. What do? They're going to run to CNN, MSNBC, and scream. Not talk about what's actually happening. Not talking about the gazillion dollars that's being spent all over the place. Don't want to talk about that. Just got to find a way to stop him. He knows that. You know that. You're not surprised. Not at all. So, I was going to continue. He's not tired. He's a man on a mission with a list of chores. Yeah. But buried in media is history. MAGA Mama says, I'm 54 and can barely keep up. Every time I hear the press that Trump has made another great deal, what jumps into my mind is Elon in that rally where he jumps in here and says the future will be amazing. Absolutely. He's 2 steps ahead, and he's got some of the best people running with him. I don't know who it was, but they really thought that was a gotcha question when they're like, hey, should they hire Big Balls back? I don't think they said that. Should they hire the kid back? And he goes, I don't know, I've been following it. And he goes, well, the vice president said it. Well, that's good for me. Where do you go with that? When you get that answer, it's like, oh, if he said it, I'm fine with it. That's a delegator. That's a man who has said at this point, this isn't me. I'm the final decision. But if you guys decide this is something you're going to do, I'm behind you. I'm behind you because I nominated you. I trust in what you're doing. The Democrats can't do that because they hire idiots. American do list. Yeah, exactly. J.D. Vance is great. Ask yourself, why does he drink Diet Coke? Exactly. Now, that was a dumb question. It was a dumb question. All right, so I have been going for 2 hours and 45 minutes. I could probably go for another hour, but I'm going to save the rest. We're going to jump back into what Senator Kennedy was saying, and I got a bunch of other stuff I want to go through. And then what we'll do is I'm going to do an 8 o'clock show tonight because I've got a bunch of stuff to keep going. I just want to keep people here. And then also I'll tape what he says. I'm sure he'll have remarks at the airport. I wish they would do something about the engines, but I guess there's nothing we can do. But we'll try and see what we can hear from there. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot more information breaking between now and the time we get together at 8 p.m. I'd love to invite you, or actually, I am inviting you to join us at the fanfareshop.org group. This is our X. If you go to that link, it'll take you to our X group. It's free, it's private, and you can get your legs there and learn X and jump in and just see everything people are posting. I had put up a poll earlier in the day when we started, have had 6,200 votes, and that poll was, we're going to be launching an email newsletter next week. Do you want in? 67% of people said yes. How do I sign up? 33% said no, don't want none. That's fine. What that tells me, 70% of people are like, yeah, we want to do it. So the reason why we're going to do the newsletter is not to sell you anything. The reason why we're going to do the newsletter is because, one reason, not everybody is getting the notifications. YouTube has been playing around, not putting everything out there. And so it is going to be incumbent upon me to continue to try ways to get the word out even further. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try everything I can to get the word out so that I post in X, I post on my own profile. Ashley, she posts. And I figure if we do the newsletter, we'll get that out as well. That way I can tell people when things are coming up. Let me do a read for one of our sponsors here real quick. So many of you guys heard me talk about this Trump knife last week or a couple days ago. And all the time, when I look into a sponsor, I try to dig in deep. They're giving away this product, and it's free plus shipping and handling. And I think it's like 12 or 13 bucks. I'm going to get one myself so I can actually show you and do an unboxing. So, folks, Trump's is finally back in the office, and it's only going to get better from here. As a celebration, Patriot Addict is sending our free Trump red knives to people who vote for Trump. This is just their way of saying thank you for supporting him and being a part of this moment in history. Normally this knife retails for $100, but right now you can grab it just for the cost of shipping. Scan the QR code that you're seeing on your screen right there to apply your 100% off coupon and claim your Trump knife today. Now understand, the key words I just said there is it's free, except you have to pay for shipping. So, free, but you have to pay for shipping. The shipping is probably, I think that somebody said it was like $13. So understand, the knife is free, the shipping is $13, which I fully understand. Why do I understand that? I've been in e-commerce, I've had stores. I know right now when we do our hoodies, we have to ship out these hoodies. And these hoodies, I don't know if people understand, it's expensive. We are actually investing in our own community here. When Ashley, number one, we have to have them printed, then we have to actually have them packaged, then we actually have to have them sent. So there's a sizable investment when you do e-commerce. When you see something's free, we don't charge anything. Our hoodies are free. We print them, we package them, we ship them. Everything is free with that. Some of the sponsors that join us, they're not in a position where they can just do everything because it's a loss for their business. We are lucky. We got a bunch of different sponsors that we work with that I can offer you these different things. I try to screen them as much as possible, but please be aware of the shipping and handling. Just wanted to make sure you guys understood that. That being said, the website and I checked it again this morning. Last night, the tech guys were working on it, and you can go to fanfareshop.org to enter to win hoodies, which we will give away tonight. Somebody had posted earlier and said, my site hacked their computer. The site can't hack the computer. It was just to let you know, I use it on my phone. I go to different things. The site itself may have a problem, but if you go to the site, because we get hacked once in a while, we get hacked, and there'll be a notice from Google and says this site isn't safe. If you see that notification from Google, this site isn't safe, one, please let us know, and number two, whatever you do, don't click through. When you actually can click through and see this, because this is what it looks like. Where is it? All right, so when it loads, this is what you see. You see Robin modeling the hoodie, and then there's a entry button that you just click there, and you can enter to win. So that's what the clean site looks like. It is working. I just checked it. I'll refresh just to show you. Boom, it refreshed. Everything is working as of right now. We get constantly hacked because we're a Trump team. We like to push everything about Donald Trump, and every once in a while they'll come with the orcs and they'll try to mess with us. There's nothing that I can do about it except fix it after they try and do their damage, because they're freaking idiots. That's what they are. They've got nothing. So if you want to try and take down a site that, basically people sign up to get hoodies, it's only short-lived, and then we'll get it fixed. But sometimes it happens in between shows or over the weekend. I don't see it. Just send me a letter. Email. Say, hey, Liz Barry, they hacked it again, and I'll take care of it. Barry, can we have a show? What's this? With a neutral legal advisor to analyze all of the court cases and the ones we are expecting. Interesting. Yeah, I can do that. I'll get Ashley the information on one of the lawyers we have in mind, and I like that idea. I like that. What hacked on browser still? I don't think so. Let me just check on my browsers just to see. You may have to clear your cache if you were there from before. Hold on. Let me spell it right. Let me just check myself here. Nope, it's clean. So if you're still seeing it, it means that you probably it's probably in your cache of your browser. I'm able to get in, so let me know, but we'll see. Let's see what else we got here. It would have to be a constitutional lawyer. I understand that. That's exactly what I would be talking about. May I suggest Good Logic? He's a good lawyer that stays up to date. Yep, we'll check it out. All right, so I just got a warning off the site that says it's in your browser. So I'm doing a malware update and see if I can't get it out of my browsers, but it's not on the site per se. It means you watch too many porn movies. No, it's not me. Why pay your federal taxes? Because the IRS will win. Well, will they? I gotta wonder what Trump is going to do with enforcement. I just wonder. I mean, that's not something you want to put out there publicly. Hey, we're going to let people just come in and do whatever they want. No, you don't want to do that. But you got to wonder what's going to happen. Let's see. If you go on Brave Security, will allow his site. Rocket, if you go on Brave's Security, it will allow his site. Okay. Yeah. Let's see here. Ashley produced the show. What show? Let's see. My wife just sent me something. I wonder if she is having an issue. Hold on. Oh no, she's taking pictures of it. Sending me pictures of the furniture on the patio. She's sending me pictures of the patio. Oh my God, that's too funny. All right, so let's at this point, I'm gonna go ahead. We need cash to get us rolling. Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, let's look at super chats, and then we can be able to adjourn. All right, CNN. Why should we keep paying federal taxes? Give me one good reason. I'll wait. I will pay my state and local. However, let's do tariffs. Why should you keep paying federal taxes? That's not the question. The question should be, why should you keep paying the amount of taxes you're paying right now? That's the question. I have no problem, none whatsoever, paying federal taxes that goes to a clean, lean government, especially for military. I got no problem. I have no problem, certain Social Security. I have no problem if we can weed out the waste with paying federal taxes. It's our duty. We go to sleep each night, we wake up in the morning, and we're still here, and that's because we have a military that's defending us. There are people in this country who are sick and infirmed, who need our help. I don't have any problem with that. I got a problem with you spending $5 gazillion on, trans drag shows in Burma. Yeah, that's a problem. We got a problem there. But in terms of why should you keep paying federal taxes, I just told you. There are reasons, it's just the amount. That's the question. Reyes, the world is watching as the U.S., so goes the world. Absolutely. FL, Bible in your daily. Shane Winnings, I love Barry for politics. Shane is biblical, no politics. Okay, great. Steve James. And also, what he was supposed to make an announcement. I don't see any announcement, but he was supposed to put up an announcement talking about the faith office, but he didn't. I guess he just got tired of that press and just left. And meanwhile, the media's out here screaming about everything. Notice that, Donna says, notice that Trump just nonchalantly shrugged his shoulders, showing how insignificant the Dems are. We should do the same. Absolutely. They are no consequence right now. Let them scream. Y'all got to be that dude at the Department of Education, the one that was sitting there just going, forget about him, forget about them. Angela Ramirez, no, because Biden was working for the Chinese. He is the master. He was their puppet. There was some reason that they wouldn't do it. Let's see here. What's the next one? Oh, Jeff, we may end up having a flat tax, which I have no problem with that either. I am so tired of people saying a flat tax hurt the poor people. You mean the ones who ain't paying anything? Barry, your lab rat antics had me crying. I laughed so hard yesterday. I mean, that's some serious Frankenstein stuff, isn't it? Trump has village people, Doge, AC/DC. There's another song out there that kind of relates to the AC/DC song. It's a song by a band. I think they're from Germany. I'm reaching way back here. And to me, it's where we are right now. The name of the band is called Accept. 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 And they had a great song. And that song was balls to the wall. You should check that out. Oh, wow. Wow. Hey, Barry, this is $1 for each person on X who could not afford it. Wow, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, love to help some people get ready there. Let's see here. That's awesome. Where are we here? Looking through these things. Okay, here we go. Where'd that go? Oh, from Reyes again. If they can work full-time, most work part-time so they can still collect. Yeah, we got to get rid of the gaming of the system. That's a huge one. If we can stop people from trying to game the system, then, but why would somebody who has bills that equal X, again, the big asterisk, is assuming you're healthy and of stable mind. Okay, so it's always, that's a different category. But if you're healthy and you're able to work, why would people not work a full-time job? Reticent Robin, thank you. I mean, that's a question I'll leave with you guys. Let me know what you think. Why if you're able, again, I just want to keep saying it. If you're able, that's the question I would have: is why would you not work a full-time job? Unless you didn't need to, unless you were, okay with what you've retired or, things of that nature. Mr. Kennedy is smiling because he knows what's coming. Yes, exactly. I'm going to finish that video tonight. Be beautiful. When does the debt start rolling backwards? You see, that's the thing, that Democrats have always been at the mindset of, if we can keep spending. And I think even Kash Patel talked about that. They never give money back. They just want to keep spending. And I think the whole ideology at this point is to is to stop the spending. Somebody goes, question when I said that, doesn't the $1 trillion he said include a number of years of payments? Absolutely. It's not just $1 trillion a year. It's over a period of time. What I'm referring to is the entirety in terms of all of the different things combined. That's one country. That's one country saying we'll do stuff. Remember, the other guy came in. We're going to put in $500 billion for AI and another. Yeah, I mean, the numbers are coming in are staggering, and plus tariffs if he uses it. Just think about that. Bring it all together. Mr. Mike, thank you. Awesome video, Barry. Thanks for all you do. My balls grew even bigger when I watched this video. Ashley, you want to cut a video and make it a short video? That guy just standing there. I mean, that was it was a home run. That was a home run. I wish I knew who he was. He probably won't do many interviews, but that was just it. I'm like, I don't care. LSC Designs, they didn't care how we felt for the last 4 years. Why should we care about their feelings for the next 4 years? Nope. They were more than willing to do everything to us. Let me see if I can cover this real quick. I love when this guy is on TV. It's Stephen Miller, because he's usually like destroying somebody. Hold on.
Had a very good gig, Stephen. I mean, it's pretty tough to pull the plug on. It's going to be a real shock to the system, I think, for a lot of these people. And we know that Joe Biden tried to make sure that they could stay home through 2026. That was a public statement that he made on all of this.
It's a giant con.
As you look at now, there's lawsuits that are being launched about Elon Musk. It's very interesting to me that the focus is on him. It is not on President Trump, who is instructing what Doge is carrying out, but it's really very focused on him. How is the relationship holding up between Elon Musk and President Trump? And obviously, they're trying to get under his skin when they put Elon Musk behind the Resolute desk on the cover of Time.
President Trump is grateful to Elon Musk and every staffer who's implementing his orders and directives as the leader of the free world to restore our democracy, to make the federal bureaucracy that has answered to no one for decades answer to the American people. So when Americans vote for Donald Trump, they're saying, we want to implement your policies. We want to implement your agenda. We want your agenda to be the agenda that's executed across the federal government. And so bureaucrats who say no, that's attacking democracy. Bureaucrats who refuse to follow the policies of the president are literally sabotaging the entire American system of government. There's no fourth branch called the unelected lifetime bureaucracy. We are witnessing the salvation of democracy in real time. They're not by the Constitution. It exists in reality. The Constitution says 3 branches of government. You have the legislative, you have the judicial, you have the executive. This is schoolhouse rock. You learn this in elementary school. A lot of bureaucrats around here don't understand that. President Trump does, and he has overwhelming support for his agenda. Since he came into office, He has issued executive orders to reopen American energy to drive down prices. He has sealed the southern border. Border crossing has plummeted 90%. He has restored safety. He has restored security. He has restored stability. And he is slashing the wasteful federal bureaucracy to achieve a degree of accountability that we have never before seen in our lives. And this is just a few weeks in. Can you imagine, Martha, what is coming next?
We'll be covering it. And it has been truly fascinating. I have covered 6 presidents or 6 presidential terms, and the speed and the preparedness of this process that happened obviously in the transition and that we're watching roll out is something amazing to cover just in terms of its magnitude. So everybody's on the edge of their seat watching all of this, and the pushback is not surprising, as you noted, but we'll see where this goes. As we've said, there's going to be lawsuits, and I'm sure you all were expecting that, and we'll see where this goes.
The radical left is going to hate, but the American people are going to win.
Stephen Miller, thank you very much.
Okay, who said that? Who said that you're probably expecting it? All right, so just so you know, we're not going anywhere. I tell you, this is how this thing happens. Was getting ready to sign off, and it appears that Trump is going to be going live soon. He's going to be signing the executive orders and going to do the faith announcement. So we're 3 hours in, but we're not done. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. So let me finish off some of the older super chats, so that we can just keep going. All right. So let's see here. Sharon O. James Brown stunt double trying to act hard. He's talking about Maxine Waters. Oh, you're cracking me up with that one. Oh, that's too funny. Darren Engel, DOE, Department of Education guard video seems staged. They couldn't request a meeting via email. Why physically go there? So you're thinking the guy outside the door was fake? I don't think so. I don't think it was fake. I mean, maybe. You're absolutely right. That's possibly could have been staged, as we did see the Homeland Security people inside, so that's possible. But we shall see. I can't say it's not. That's for sure. Jen Boo Boo. Every time I start to feel a little bad, I just remind myself that these people would have had me eating bugs. Yep. And so you tell them, screw off. I am Planet Hermit. I keep hearing Janis Joplin's crybaby whenever these nuts are yapping. You mean like this? I should have played it while she was doing that. Donald Donovan Barry, you need one more button of VP just saying, I don't really care, Margaret. Yeah, I might have to cut that one too. You're right. Ed Powell, thanks for all that you do. I'm still waiting on your suit and tie. You know it's starting to get warm down here in South Florida. I know I was going to start wearing more button-down shirts, but it's starting to get a little warm already here. So we'll see. I know I got AC, but I got all these lights and stuff in here too. Rick Atomic, America is working its way back to greatness. Say hi to Tina Miller for me. Thank you. Who's Tina Miller? Where are we going here? We asked the Democrats didn't care about our feelings. CR says not whatsoever. And believe it, they still don't. They don't care. Robert Husbands, thank you. Here, 100%. Love this show. All right, so we're not going anywhere. Let me catch up with some people so that we can go to. I just want to make sure I didn't cover all these. Hold on. Let me just. Okay, because there's a couple new ones. All right, Dave the Patriot. And like that, no one's talking about the drones and UAPs. Not a single word. Huh, it's kind of interesting. Barry, did you get my email about the Gulf of America songs? I haven't checked email yet today, but I shall. FL, God put Trump and Doge, including Elon. Thank you, Jesus, Darlene. Thank you, absolutely. Cassandra Fine Arts. Cassandra Paquin Fine Arts. Hey Barry, maybe interview one of the ACLU. Ooh, they don't want me. Oh, that would be the most contentious interview possible, because I'm gonna ask them the questions they don't want people asking them. Diamond Cybertron. Now you can rest at 8. No, we'll go at 8. It's only 3:37. Trump will come out and we'll move forward. Because I got a lot of stuff. Barry, was this U.S. aid stuff on both sides? Was Fox being paid? Haven't seen that yet, but it was indeed on both sides. They're starting to find out there's some, Republican politicians that got some money, i.e. Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham got some cash. So let me just make sure we're on time. I've got, okay. All right, so we're ready. When he goes up, we're going to be ready. So one of the things that Martha McCallum said, I want to touch on that because it irks the hell out of me. And it probably irks the hell out of you. You, more than likely, are a grown-ass man or grown-ass woman. Probably, right? Right, okay. So when you say stuff like, are they trying to irk Trump because they're putting a picture of this guy up or a picture of this person up? Are they trying to get to him? And I think to myself, I was in high school a long, long time ago. You putting up a picture of somebody else and you think it's irking the guy who's living in the White House? You don't know him. That's all I got to say is you don't know him. If that's how you feel, if you feel like this guy's going to get upset because he's getting some publicity, I'm not getting the publicity. It's insulting. I mean, we're talking, this stuff is on a whole different level, and it's insulting to think that you feel like the president is going to be upset because Time Magazine put his buddy on the picture, on the cover instead of putting him. I wouldn't care. And more than likely, you wouldn't care. That's not why he's there. He's not there for pictures and all this stuff and headlines. That's what you think. A lot of these people on the left think that he's a, how can I say it? He lets you think what you think. And how do I know this? Well, remember, I don't know, was it 5-6 years ago? Yeah, just go all the way back when that first NBC Hollywood Access tape came out. And that Hollywood Access tape that came out where, it's a pretty big deal. I just grab them by the you-know-what. When that came out, and ever since, here it is, we're 2025. You ever apologize for that? Nope. Nope. Didn't apologize. I've told you before, if you haven't read the book, Art of the Deal, go read the book. In it, he says there's no such thing as bad publicity. Good publicity is preferred, but even bad publicity means they're still talking about you. And so when Martha's been around for decades. She didn't look it, but she's been around for a long, long time. She said, I've covered 6 presidential terms. Well, if each one's 4 years, you've actually been in the business for 24, 25 years. And you've never seen anything like this. Nope, never seen anything like this. So what makes you think this guy, who had everything he wanted in his life for who knows how long, the ups, the downs, the sideways, everything, and then he gets shot, and people tried to take his head off on live TV, is worried about a picture on Time Magazine? I'm sorry. All right, so they're showing, they said Trump was going to come out, but I'm looking at pictures of him, or pictures of Air Force One with the stairs up. So we're going to find out where he's going. Is he going to be still in the White House? Because the information that they put out there was that he was going to sign some information. But when I look at roll call and look at the timing, let's see, I'm looking at his schedule. It is now 3:41. If I look at his schedule, it says he was supposed to leave the White House at 3 p.m. and then head to Joint Base Andrews and be there at 3:10, which is long past that. And then he was going to depart Joint Base Andrews on the helicopter en route to Palm Beach at 3:20. So he's already 20 minutes behind his departure to Palm Beach. And I'm looking this is on RSBN right now.
Room, and then also have some executive orders that he would sign. We'll bring you that live. Now, if for some reason that is being done now and there are no cameras in there, there may be a camera that gets in there and we're able to show you that on replay. But we're just going to follow everything we're getting with the live feeds right now. Also, we will definitely get, obviously, that vantage point as the president will be headed to the winter White House.
All right, so that has been something, and it happened yesterday, and everybody was like, what the hell just happened? When we all thought he was going to be signing all of these orders, and he didn't sign it. And then the other thing we thought was that he was going to do a tape delay, and that didn't happen. So we'll wait a little bit. I ain't got nothing to do right now, so I can keep talking to you. So one of the questions, here's what I can do. I got some stuff stored away that we can talk about in the interim. And I just don't like burning time. These are stuff I was going to do tonight. Actually, I was going to do it today, but because we got so busy, and he talked longer and did basically 2 press conferences, this stuff got pushed off. But I can still talk about it. You see, earlier, somebody asked why Tucker Carlson was at the White House. I don't know. But he took this picture, and Trump posted it on the POTUS profile, and it's a picture of Tucker and Elon Musk with the giant MAGA hats. The giant MAGA hats right there. So whatever they were doing, there's no telling. There's no telling why these guys were at the White House. But they were there and having fun. A lot of fun with the big giant MAGA hats on. I'm going to save that. I want to save that. I'm going to save this one. I got a whole bunch of stuff here saved that I don't want to get into right now because I need to have all the stuff that goes along with it. This is a big one. Those of you guys who were up last night and heard all of the Democrats screaming, Russell Vought, as director of the Office of Management and Budget, OMB, it has now been confirmed. Actually, it was confirmed last night. So in case you don't know who Russell Vought is, and this is where they were screaming, and then when I did the overnight video and everything else, the reason why they were screaming is because he is the author, they say, of Project 2025. And so they definitely didn't want him in, and now he's been confirmed. So, boy, that got confirmed, and it was unanimous from the Republicans. Nobody wavered, 53-47. So he got in. All the Democrats said no, all the Republicans said yes, and he was in. So I'm refreshing to see if anything else is out here. Alex Jones. Alex Jones, I think, writes some of the best headlines out there. He's doing his show in like a little while. It was just, he did his show. It was Doge bombshell. Elon Musk and President Trump caught by the Democrats launching Operation Big Balls. Oh, they're not going to get away from that. They're not going to get away from that. Oh, I cannot believe CNN was that stupid, but they were, to get out there and call it, talk about Operation Big Balls. You can't get away from that. Oh my goodness, that's just too funny. Right now, and I do mean right now, as we speak, George Behezi says U.S. aid is literally being shut down. I have heard tears of joy coming down my eyes right now. Is anyone cutting onions? They're sanding. They're sanding off the letters as we speak. This was posted 4 minutes ago, and they're up there. They already got the black duct tape on on the name, and now they're up there sanding away. We're taking the letters off, rather, off the USAID. Ooh. Oh, I want you to hear this interview. This is Brendan Carr, new FCC, who's talking about taking away CBS's license.
President Trump has been ahead of the curve. He's been ahead of it on a lot of things. He came out early and said, this thing looks like it's been pretty chopped up. And now we've been transparent with the American public. But stepping back, as you indicate, I've been chair for 3 weeks, and it's been quite a difference in D.C. President Trump is delivering right away, as we see on the border. We're driving down the cost of living. And he's been right on these media bias issues. And one thing that he gets that I think most people don't is there's a difference between cable programs like the one we're on right now on Fox News and broadcast TV like CBS, like ABC, like NBC. And to your point, this news distortion rule applies only to broadcast, not to cable. Why? Because broadcasts have access to a public resource, the airwaves. They were given it for free originally. It's worth billions and billions of dollars today. And so they're differently situated than cable or from other speakers. And at the FCC for years, we sort of walked away from our obligation to enforce the public interest standard on broadcasters. And hopefully over these first couple of weeks, people see that this is an FCC that is going to hold broadcasters accountable to their public interest obligations.
Yeah, so the news distortion, when I look at that soundbite, what comes to my mind is the fact that the border was the #1 issue in the election. It's what most voters said they cared about. The economy and the border were really the two top issues. Is CBS breaking any rules by not including something that was one of the top issues for Americans in the interview, in and of itself?
Well, this is now a live issue before the FCC that we are going to be taking a look at. We did two things this week. One, we put the transcript out there for everybody to see. We're being transparent so that everybody can comment. There's a docket now at the FCC. People can weigh in. We'll make the judgment. When you look across other broadcasters, there's issues too. We reinstituted a complaint against NBC. If you look at Comcast, Brian Roberts there snuck on Kamala Harris to SNL at the last minute right before the election, and we reopened an investigation into that as well.
So why, I know you mentioned that J.D. Vance's interview and transcript were put out right away. And we all, who've watched 60 Minutes over the years, and they've added.
All right, so I'm cutting to this. This is a live shot. So I don't know what Trump did, but he got out of Dodge. Hold on.
Okay, so we do have an update for you that the executive order signing in the Oval Office is now closed press. Closed press means exactly what that means. Nobody's getting that unless they feed something to us a little bit later. Then we can upload that to all of our channels. So this most likely is the President of the United States inside Marine One. Again, the executive order signing, if you wanted to watch that here and hear about the Faith Office, that is closed press right now, according to our COO. But here's the thing. If there is a recording of it, we will play that for you, whether on the channel here live or on Truth Social.
All right, so as you can see, Trump has...
at Mar-a-Lago this evening with Republican senators before making his way to New Orleans for the Super Bowl. He's going to be the first sitting president to...
All right, so whatever's about to happen has already happened. So if they release a recording, that's fine. But it appears at this point that Trump is... Ooh, what happened there? I don't want to see Clay. But in any event, we can go back to this other feed and see Trump actually leaving and exiting the Marine One. All right, so you can see, I don't know what Fox had done, but now we're back with the Fox feed, and hopefully everything stays copacetic and we don't have to worry about it.
They face this really big moment in their own lives, so it is a huge came ahead, and we're just going to keep an eye on as we wait for the president to come out. We're going to take a very
So he may make a statement. If he makes a statement, which more than likely he'll say something. So that signing in the White House did not happen, but we will see if he makes any sort of statement. We'll be able to check that, and we'll check out, or if he just gets on Air Force One. No statement. Appears as though we are done. He has left the building. There is not going to be a statement. I will show you how it all just transpired, but all right, that's it. He has left the building. No comments, nothing at all. So we'll have to see if later they go ahead and post anything in regards to what happened in the Oval Office. I'm not seeing anything as of right now anywhere. So that seems to be it at the moment. Don't know if there was a recording, so I'm going to stay probably for another 5 minutes or so, and if not, we'll get it tonight at the 8 o'clock show, and I'll show it then. But he was very determined. Just got off the helicopter, saluted, and gone. The interesting thing about that is it appears as though Melania is already down here. So I don't know if she wasn't in Washington, but he was all alone going from that to there, and now he's heading from Joint Base Andrews to the airport, and then he'll be down here in Mar-a-Lago, South Florida. Then at that point, he's going to New Orleans for the Super Bowl. So that's it. Doreen says he's going to go play golf. I don't think. Let me try to think if he's got time. Oh yeah, he's got all day tomorrow. That's right. The Super Bowl isn't until Sunday, so it's Sunday evening at 6:30, and so yeah, he's got all day to go play golf tomorrow. Maybe I'll see him when we're up in West Palm Beach area. Let's see here. All right, so that's. Let me just look at this stuff and see if I need to keep these things happening. I'll save the rest of it. So anyway, the newsletter, as I mentioned earlier, the newsletter was, I wanted to be able to have another way to contact you and let you know that a video has been posted. I'm seeing things right now that many people in the FBI are threatening to quit if Kash Patel is confirmed. Oh well, don't let the door hit you. Bye. How are you going to tell people I'm going to quit if you guys bring in Kash Patel? Go away. We don't care. USAID is done. I showed you what Bahizi put up. This is from Charlie Kirk. Everyone's got that same video going up where they are stripping the name. The agency is done. In other words, what you can take from this is you can take your lawsuit and shove it up your rear. I've already closed it. It's done. I mean, when you're taking the letters off the building and saying it's closed, it's going to be hard to put the genie back in a bottle. So he's pretty much telling the Democrats, so you get this, he is pretty much telling the Democrats, go pound sand. There's no agency to put an injunction against. It doesn't exist. How can you tell me to keep funding people when that agency no longer exists? There's your court argument. I could make that argument in court, and I'm not even a lawyer. I'm sorry, Your Honor. That agency doesn't exist. Well, what do you want me to do? You can't make me restart an agency. Let that sink in, what you're just seeing there. Because I think it's an awesome political move. All right. So he did all this stuff with the USAID, stop payments and everything else, right? Right. You already know that. And at that point, they went and sued and said, you got to keep the payments going. And he didn't really respond yet. Well, I think we're looking at the response. That agency no longer exists, Your Honor. You can't, I can't do anything if it's not here. You guys getting this? You want me to restart? It's done. It's over with. The president canceled the agency. So there's no payments for the agency to keep funding because that agency doesn't exist. Sort of like the Gulf of Mexico versus the Gulf of Mexico doesn't exist. It's the Gulf of America. Good luck trying to navigate that legal labyrinth. Because if I'm watching this thing go away, as you just saw, I'd love to talk to a lawyer about that one. That's some serious. That's 60 chess. Your Honor, I'm here on behalf of the government, and I'm going to have to decline representation because we don't even know the subpoena is directed to, for the USAID. It no longer exists. Your move. And there's no way you can tell them you have to open an agency. There is no way a judge can say you have to reopen the agency. Show me your constitutional basis for that one. Barry, the only FBI agents threatening to quit are those who know that the agency was weaponized against the American people and President Trump, for sure. Absolutely, for sure. Let me see this. It's crazy. That is a boss move. I'm not a lawyer, but I could almost look at something. I would love to talk to a lawyer tonight and say, is that the case? What do you do? It's not. It's like saying you can't sell that house, and you go to show up and the house is gone. Somebody bulldozed her. I was in a court once, and this is so funny. I was in a court once, and I had to wait for jury duty, but I didn't want to sit around, so I went into a courtroom, and in the courtroom there was a divorce proceedings, or they brought the guy in handcuffs because he had violated a court order. He had gotten divorced, and he was supposed to sell a Corvette that the family had and give the wife 50%, and he would take 50%, right? So they went to sell the Corvette, and he had taken chainsaws and cut the Corvette in half. The actual car, he cut it in half and said, oh, here's your half. Do something with it. And I watched the judge just kind of like, well, you violated my order. No, I gave her half. She got that half. She got the trunk. Oh, that's pretty much what we just watched. Oh my God, drill, baby, drill. All right, guys. I thank you. I did the super chat. Oh, word apple spinning. Oh God, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So if he does do a delayed signing and show it, I will show it at the 8 o'clock. I am going to be doing the 8 o'clock show. It's 4 o'clock. I got plenty of time to go hang with the wife, eat some lunch, hang out with the dog. Thank you guys for tuning in. Wow, we went from 12:30 to almost 4 o'clock. Thank you very, very much. We'll see you at 8 p.m. on a Friday evening. So if you're busy, make sure you watch the replay tomorrow. But we'll be here at 8 p.m.